Hello, welcome to another exciting edition of Red Dot Forum Camera Talk. I'm David. I'm joined by Josh Lehrer.
Hey, everyone.
We've got Jose Revere over there producing the show.
Hello, hello.
In the holiday spirit, of course.
Absolutely. So today is a little bit different. First, we weren't actually scheduled to do the show, but we really wanted to get in the holiday spirit here and give you the gift of another Red Dot Forum Camera Talk.
Which is, let's be real, the only thing anyone wants for Christmas.
It's really the only thing.
My humble, unbiased opinion.
Exactly. So we are doing two things tonight that we never do. It's a special holiday season episode. The first one is kind of obvious.
Right.
We are...
Cheers.
Cheers. Jose?
Cheers, guys. Wait, where's Jose?
Where's Jose?
Hold on.
He's fixing his hat.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
It's holidays. Okay.
Cheers. If you have, follow along at home.
We have to drink every time David drops something?
Nope. Or we say it depends.
Or we say it depends.
depends.
Right.
That's right.
Those are the rules.
So what is the other thing we're doing tonight, Josh, that is unusual?
Well, if you've watched any of our 60-something episodes, you'll probably be aware that one thing I frequently say is that we do not speculate about future products. We're not going to say what we think is coming next or what we think Leica should do or any of that stuff, because ultimately we're focused on what's in front of us, both literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. But in the spirit of the holidays, we are breaking that rule and basically dreaming.
It's like the ghost of Christmas future?
Yes, pretty much. This episode is basically if we were in charge of Leica and had unlimited funds and unlimited R&D time to do whatever we wanted, what would we do?
Exactly.
In terms of product development, features, new line, anything, really.
Yes.
At least within the bounds of physics.
Physics is important.
Hopefully. So we've come up with a bunch of our own. We also solicited submissions from you guys, which we got a ton of.
Oh my gosh,
So we will try to get to...
Yeah, we have like lists.
We have like 50 of our own.
Yeah.
So this is your one chance to speculate. But what is the key disclaimer here?
The key disclaimer is just because we say something doesn't mean that it's going to happen, right? Because we do not have supernatural powers. We don't pull all the strings at Leica as much as Josh would like to think we do. So these are really things that we want to see as users, as enthusiasts ourselves.
Right. So if we say something, I don't want to go on Leica user forum tomorrow and say, well, Josh said that the new Q is going to have a built-in dishwasher. No.
Wait, it's not?
It's no.
Oh, no.
This is just us having a good time, speculating and dreaming about what we would want.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, we don't really know what's coming until a day or two before. It's not that simple.
The secret's out, right? So if coincidentally we say something that we want to have happens, it's also because we have a lot of experience seeing what Leica has done over the past all the years.
Yeah.
And maybe we can interpolate, just like you guys do, of what might be upcoming. But to that end, obviously, we do not have a crystal ball. We have educated guesses, and we have, more importantly, the things that we want to see.
Yes.
So Leica, if you're watching, which you should be.
That's right.
Because it's only the middle of the night in Germany. Take notes.
That's right.
And do everything that we ask for, because that will make our holidays bright and merry.
Yes, and also, as usual, I've got some cool stuff to show that I'll sprinkle in to the show. So if you're interested in seeing cool things, be sure to stay tuned for that as well.
All right.
I think we can dive right in. And what we discovered was, in terms of the submissions that we got, where there were a couple of themes, and we tried to group those wish list requests into those different themes, because there are trends. Of course. And I think where we should start is, we go to the list there, starting at line number 8.
Okay.
So what's...
Do you have the other one up here?
What do you mean? I have ours. It's right here.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, sorry.
Perfect. We're going to start here.
With this little guy.
So this is the Leica CL. This is my Leica CL.
No, that's my Leica CL.
Oh, my Leica CL's over there then. All right. Well, we have two CLs. One is on camera, one is not.
Yeah.
So the Leica CL. I think a lot of people like us really love this camera, and we're really sad to see it go. So let's dive into the Leica CL. Josh, where do we start off here?
Well, we got a lot of requests for what would be called a CL2, should there be a successor to the CL. That's the logical thing, although if we know anything about Leica's naming conventions, it doesn't always follow that. But in terms of what what you guys would like to see,
what do we have? Let's see.
A lot of it was just a return of the CL. That was the main thing,
Sure.
not necessarily being specific. 24 megapixel sensor. That'd be interesting if Leica stuck with that lower resolution.
Well, here, let's just run through all of the wish requests.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, straight off, right? That's a very long.
Yeah, you have to like click on.
Wow. Okay.
No, you have to just click on the text box. So you
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Full frame sensor.
Well, that wouldn't be a CL.
That wouldn't be a CL,
yeah.
right? Because we already have the Q. So this isn't pure fantasy, right? We have to be somewhat realistic. So let's just say we could get a new generation sensor, maybe an upgraded EVF, but you've got to keep with the same mount and the same APS-C coverage. Otherwise, it's an SL body, not a CL body.
Right. If we want to be able to use the excellent line of TL lenses, it has to be APS-C.
Right.
Or else you would crop. So anyway,
Exactly.
carry on.
Exactly. Let's see. SL menu system, obviously, that makes sense. I mean, we're seeing a lot of from M11 to SL2 to the Q line. You know, there is a unification and a homogenization of the menu systems.
Well, remember, the CL got a firmware update that gave it the quick menu screen. So even within the CL's own life cycle, Leica started pushing it more towards their sort of current menu logic.
Exactly. Oh, this is oddly specific from Michael. And he thinks it should be priced at $3,750.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
Not a dollar higher. Yeah, I think that, you know, I would say Leica is kind of missing a camera in a space that this one filled, right? So we have the Q3 at $6,000, and we have a Velux at $1,500.
Yeah.
There really is nothing in the middle except for, as we all know, used and pre-owned cameras. Right? You can get a used Q2 or a used SL 601 for what? Under $2,000.
Yeah. No.
You can get a used SL2 for
$4,000.
For $4,000.
Yeah.
Right. So we're kind of in that area, and you can get something to fill in this gap, but it would be nice, something new on the shelf, shiny new product at that $3,000-ish price point.
And I think,
which would be really nice.
You know, the APS-C system for Leica got a lot of development. I mean,
it did.
3 generations of T camera, 4 X's, 3 zooms, 5 prime. I can't even keep track. All the zooms, all the primes. We got a black CL, we got a silver CL, we got special edition CLs.
There's actually something on this one that even the SL didn't get.
We got a true one-to-one macro, the only one Leica has ever made up to this point at least. So the CL really did see a lot of development. It's not like it's like Leica didn't just release one version and then call it a day. That whole line. They spent a lot of time in 2014 to whenever the CL was discontinued, 2019, 2020, so 6 years.
And they did a lot of work.
Yeah, they did a lot in that
They did a lot, and the groundwork was laid with earlier APS-C cameras. Didn't we have an entire episode on APS-C?
Back in the day.
We did,
We're talking like almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So we did have a show on that. And, you know, it started out with the X1, and then the X2, the X Vario, the X Type 113, weird naming scheme, remember?
Yeah, right.
And led us to the TL, or the T701, which then became the TL, then the TL, then the CL, then the TL2, and so we had quite a lot of development. And it's certainly not for nothing, because all of that development and all that groundwork, these lenses paved the way for SL lenses. This L mount was first seen on the T701, which is now featured on Leica's headlining product on the SL2, SL2S, and is now adopted with the L mount Alliance. So it had kind of humble beginnings on an APS-C body, but it has really helped Leica, I'd say, propelled them into the future with mirrorless because of that lens mount technology that they invested in back in the APS days. So a lot of, and then I would say the all-in-one cameras like the X Vario, the X113, they basically became the Q line.
Right.
And now we have 3 generations of Q camera. So it certainly was, I think, a historic milestone and step, and a necessary step that Leica took with that system. But as you can see with the wish list here, make it full frame. Well, it's
Yeah.
like, then it wouldn't be an APS-C.
Right. It wouldn't be a CL, yeah.
Right.
So, could be something different. Doesn't mean we would want that, but
Exactly.
if we're sticking in the boundaries of what a CL is.
Right. So I'd still like to see a follow-up to this camera.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be revolutionary.
And to be clear, David and I have both told the people that like this
yes, repeatedly.
many times. It's not like we're sitting here just, but we've said to them, like,
So here's what we want. Ready? Okay.
go.
Made in Germany.
Yep.
APS-C
Yep.
with modern BSI tech,
Yep.
let's say.
Yep.
36 megapixel. Let's just throw dart to the wall, okay?
That'd be good, yeah.
Because we know that the sensor technology from the M11, the Q3, if we scale that down, we're going to get somewhere around 30, 36 megapixel. And make it compatible with all the lenses, upgrade the EVF to what's in the Q. Let's say 3.68.
You know what I'd like to see on the CL? A joystick. So I can back button focus, and B,
true.
because that's a really, every time I go from an SL2 and I grab my CL,
Yeah.
the first thing my thumb does is try to find the joystick.
There
I would love
there isn't one.
that, a CL. There's space for it on there.
Yeah.
And, they can make it a little taller,
Right up there.
but I think I'd like to see that as well.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if they came out with it, I don't think it would sell that well because people they want full frame.
Right.
That's why the Q, I think, has been so incredibly, overwhelmingly successful since its beginning. So I think if Leica was going to do another APS-C camera, it would have to be mind-blowingly good or extremely affordable, which are things Leica, in theory, could do. I just don't think they would do it because they're now so focused on their full frame. So.
Yeah. And I think the market has moved more full frame, especially the Leica user. Everything is full frame, and it feels like a little bit of an odd duck out at this point. And, to address the thing that we've said a million times before, when people say, well, what do I do with my CL? Keep using it.
I just had this conversation yesterday with someone who has a CL. He's like, I love my CL. I love using it. He's like, should I get rid of it? I'm like, no, it's awesome. They're guaranteeing serviceability for 6 years, and it's a great camera. I mean, he still has one. I still have one. I use that 60 macro. That lives on my desk. I use it almost every day. There's no reason to get rid of it, especially if you have a silver one.
Yep.
They only sold a fraction of those compared to the black ones, and I think they look really, really cool. Let's see if there's any chat about what we're talking about before we go to the next. Probably a lot.
CL monochrome?
The CL, no, see, that would never happen. Yeah, I mean, okay, but I mean, sure, on a wish, that's fine.
Right.
I just think that.
But is this like the brainstorming session? No idea is a bad idea?
Exactly. A flip out screen. That could be cool as long as it didn't compromise the small size of the body.
I think it really would. The CL is so small. It's so compact.
I think if they could find a way to do it, I'm all for it. But I would worry it would make it a little too thick. Anything else, CL?
I wish the CL got a CL2 using the 26 megapixel BSI APS-C sensor.
Yeah, is that a thing?
I don't know. I mean, it certainly sounds oddly specific to not be a thing.
I think that's probably it.
I think that's it for the CL.
Okay. So So that's our dream.
That's our dream.
For a CL successor, which we'll probably never see. But
hey,
we're allowed to have dreams.
We can have dreams.
Next, I think we should go down to line 50. I want to basically keep M for a little bit later. So
Okay.
Yeah. So the next category we're going to talk about what we would do if we ran Leica would be
a Q. Let's talk about all the Q wish lists. Now, a lot of the Q wish lists are just, when can I get a Q3? So
shouldn't laugh. It's pretty annoying.
Our number one Q wish list is Leica. Make more Q3s.
I know. When I say it's annoying, I mean it's so annoying that I don't have more cameras to sell.
Right.
Because it's our job to sell you guys cameras, and when we can't because we don't have any, then we're very sad.
Okay. So number one, make more Q3s.
Get that out of the way. Yeah.
We're just getting that out of the way now. All right, sticking with the Q3, we've got Albert says, let's come out with a Leica Q3 black paint special edition. I know you are all about black paint.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that on a Q3. I feel like they really try to keep black paint for M.
And could you do black paint over aluminum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leica has done that with some of their lenses, the newer, like the 35 Summicron that came with the Yormark and a few other, and the 70th anniversary of Korea set, and a few other things.
So it's not limited to just
They can do it. They can do black paint over aluminum, but I don't think the Q3
necessitates it.
It would be, it would be sick. Yeah. Let me put that out there. I think it would be really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Q2 monochrome as a reference. So yeah, I would be down with red lettering on it.
That'd be cool.
It'd be awesome. Yeah. I just don't know if they would do it. I don't know. But
mean
yes.
red numbering on the lens?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That'd be, that's a great, I love that
Yeah.
wish, though, because I would be all for that.
Let's do it.
What else we got?
Okay, so we've got two people have said they want a 35 millimeter version of a Q3. Interesting, right? So we've got a 28, and you know, I was thinking about this. I love 35. I am a 35 shooter. Would I want a 35Q if I was stuck to one lens,
Right.
and I couldn't change it? Would I really want a 35, or do I appreciate the flexibility that the 28 gives me and the ability to crop to a 35 equivalent? Because you can crop down to a 35 equivalent, you can't make the 35 any wider.
Right.
Okay, so that being said, I don't think it's a, you know, should Leica do this for their next generation? Maybe this is more of a, can they do this also?
Yeah.
Like as another model. I don't know. I think it's interesting, but 28 and 35 are pretty close.
Yeah.
So maybe something like 28 and 50 might work better because that will give you even more flexibility for
Right, because you could probably
cropping.
crop that 50 down to like a 135.
Right.
With if you think about what you can go with 28 now.
Exactly.
So I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like a 50 cron, so it kept the lens small.
Sure.
Because if it was a 50 lux, I think it'd be pretty large. But
Although that would still be nice.
yeah, it would be sick with the macro functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. I mean, you know, since the original Q came out,
Yeah.
that's been something that people have always talked about is a
It has.
Q with different focal lengths. I'm not really sure because the Q3, the lens in the Q3, as far as I know, is identical
It is.
to the lens on the original Q.
It is.
They haven't changed the fundamentals that I'm aware of, anyway, of that lens.
It's been 8 years, right? No, more.
More.
8.5 years.
Yeah.
8.5 years since the original Q came out, mid 2015, and they've stuck with the same lens because
It's amazing.
it's an awesome
I mean,
lens.
if you have a Q, even an original Q, you know
how
how
good
good that 28 is.
That's
And
right.
then again, with the macro and the focus is fast and the leaf shutter, super quiet. I mean, it's awesome.
But it would be interesting. You know, I've used the Q, both. You know, I personally use the Q2 monochrome. I did use the Q3 in a couple outings, and actually, when I went to Paris back in the spring, I only took the Q3. That was, or I guess beginning of summer, and that was it. And it worked really nicely as a travel camera. It's very liberating to have that lightweight.
Yeah.
But if anything was missing, it was that longer reach.
Yeah.
That's the only place I think where I really missed having the flexibility of the M system or the SL system, being able to easily get out to 90.
But the question would be, if you want to have two focal lengths with an M or an SL, it's just one body and two lenses.
Right.
If you have a Q with a 50, say, you'd have to bring two bodies and two lenses, basically. Granted, they're still not that heavy, but I wonder if that would be ungainly. I guess you could get used to it if you had both.
Kind of like one on
Yeah.
each. Like it would have to make a special strap,
Yeah.
like hangs one
To
camera on each side.
I think that exists, actually.
Or two different levels, like old M photographers shooting different lenses.
yeah,
right?
so, but I think that would be cool to have that as an option.
Yeah, I think
To
so
have,
too.
of course, the problem, though, is it's not just two, now it's four, because then there has to be a monochrome version in the one focal length and a monochrome version in the other. And then when they come out with a special edition, a reporter,
gosh.
a ghost, a
Oh my
safari, then
God.
how do they decide which focal length? So
Wow.
yeah, you can
Can
see
of worms,
it would
can of
spiral
worms.
out of control. But as a dream for sure, I think.
I'm there for it. Yeah.
What about you? What would you like to see on a Q3 successor? What would be something?
Wait, we're talking, the Q3 just came out.
I know, but we're allowed to dream, bro.
Wow.
Look, we got beer. Drink more.
I'd like to see the flip screen eliminated.
Oh, come on. What's wrong with it?
There's my hot take, right, Jose?
I want the flip screen. You ever been in one of those luxury cars, like we're in the back, you can pull out like a little screen and control the car? I want that. I want the screen to actually come away from the camera and be tethered, automatically switch over to Bluetooth tethering.
Okay.
So you could have it as a wireless viewfinder, and then it just seamlessly pops back in.
Wow. That is pretty cool, actually. Like a little,
Like a little tablet.
like a little removable 3-inch tablet.
Yeah. But it's the same size, but it's no thicker than the screen.
With like 5 minutes of battery life.
No, it would have some fancy imaginary battery tech that could last a really long
okay,
time.
okay.
And then, of course, it charges wirelessly when you put it back on the camera.
Magnetically, of
Yeah,
course.
it's got wireless charging built in. That'd be sick.
And a magnet. It's like MagSafe charging.
Yeah.
That
I
would
mean,
actually be pretty
that
cool.
would be very, very cool. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm allowed to dream.
All right. So what would I realistically like to see on the next Q? Well, I think we're pretty much there in terms of resolution. I mean, I know I say that a lot with each generation, but really 60 megapixel, we're getting pretty high up there, rarefied air. maybe just, I don't know, like a slightly revised DVF, a little bit faster, wireless. Wow.
I know it's funny because I'm also trying to think of any I have my fantastical request, but any realistic. What about actually? We should get some contributions in the chat. See while we're spitballing on this. What a new Q. I mean, yes, we would want. I know everybody wants a Q3 monochrome.
What about a Q3 zoom?
Or like the X Vario?
Yeah, like an X Vario. I would like to see.
That'd be cool.
Know what?
Like a 28 to 70.
Maybe instead of a 28 and a 50. Maybe it makes more sense to have a Vario edition of it. So have a 28 fixed, and then have a Vario like 28 to 70.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
And what you could do is the Vario version could be a Q3S with low resolution. So because the Vario lens would have like an f4 aperture.
Right.
So it wouldn't be as good in low light, but then the camera has low resolution, so it has a better low light performance, so it offsets the slower aperture on the zoom lens.
Good.
So the Q3 and the Q3S Vario. Perfect. I mean, it would be really cool.
My vote's still for just a Q3 Vario.
And if they made a Q3 with the 50, what would they call it? Because the cameras have always just been called Q something.
Q350? Q3P?
Well, no, that wouldn't be a P. Q3, I think it'd be called the Q350 or the Q3L for long.
I don't know.
Yeah. Q3A for also.
This is why we don't run them.
That's one of the many reasons, yes.
All right. Well, and I have another. I have another Q3 related thing.
It's right here.
It's right here.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
I would like to see, as we're talking about APS and how that rolled into and became the Q, this was a fascinating product for anyone who's not seen it. This is an XU. Maybe I can get a little overhead action here, Jose. Look at that. If you're not familiar with the Leica XU, this is basically an X Type 113 that is fully encased from the factory. It's, I think, the only purpose-built digital camera for underwater usage. Instead of putting another camera in a housing like traditionally, this one is actually the world's only APS-C underwater camera. And the focus ring, you got manual focus, manual shutter speed dial, manual aperture, everything works. All the buttons work as they're supposed to. And it's a really, really cool idea. It also even had a flash up front, so you could get closer to the subject if you're shooting, close-ups of coral or fish or things like that. You can come back up to us here. So what really held this back, though, is it has a 16 megapixel APS-C sensor from like 2010 or something.
Yeah.
It's not the best in low light. I think it pretty much maxes out its usable range somewhere around 800 ISO. And if you've ever been underwater, it gets dark really fast. So anything beyond, say, 10 to 12 feet, and it's even with the flash only reaches maybe a foot or two. So I would love to see an a Q3 basically packaged like this for underwater usage and call it a Q3U, because that new sensor, the 60 megapixel BSI sensor, would be insane for much better low light performance, and with that 28 millimeter, so much more practical than a 35.
And also, the XU is not only waterproof, but it's also shockproof.
That's true.
So a Q3U, even if you're not going to use it underwater, if it was followed the same design philosophy, could also be just a great camera for people that are working in really rough environments where it could be dropped or impacted. It's
rugged. It's ruggedized.
Yeah, it's a ruggedized version. So that would be really, really cool. I wonder if they could do it. I wonder if that.
I mean, it would seem like it would be bigger than this.
But you would have to be bigger because if you had dive gloves on or something.
And you look at the size difference, like these aren't too different in terms of their physical size.
Yeah.
You need the buttons to be chunky enough to operate with.
But I think they could do it. I just don't think it would. I think it had to be like $10,000 and just wouldn't sell enough. That's my.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, what's in the chat, David? I haven't.
Jose, what's going on in the chat?
Where's your Santa hat?
No, I took it off already.
Oh. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, about the XU, no.
No one wants an underwater Q?
Give me the Santa hat.
Yeah, I guess with a flash. Somebody said.
Yeah, they'd have to put a flash on it.
Yeah.
If it was underwater.
Well, now all bets are off.
Yeah. Anything else about Q3 suggestions or future Q?
Did we miss any?
Q3 EZ, Elmore zoom.
Q3 Elmar. Okay, I think they call it a Q3 Vario, but easy would be a cute one.
AI on Q3.
For what?
For what?
Exactly.
I mean, I guess there's probably. I'm just being silly, but yeah, okay. Like AI autofocus somehow, or AI.
I mean, the autofocus on the Q3 is pretty nice. Oh, we did miss one here. So Jim said they should make the next Q with internal memory or 2 card slots. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm very used to that on the SL and also on the M11 now. So that's really nice having that internal memory as a backup.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I'm actually curious as to why the Q3 doesn't have internal memory like the M11 does and the M11.
I'm sure there's some design constraint, or I mean, it's because it's a pretty small camera. I don't know, but that's a good. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think yes, I agree. I would like to see either both dual card slots and internal memory. Why not? And then the pop-out screen can have its own internal memory as well. So you can.
Oh no,
That's where the internal memory is. So you can have it. You can show your images on it. I'm telling you, it's like a little mini.
wait.
teeny little iPad.
Does it also just expand when you stretch
Yeah,
it?
like Iron Man style.
Yeah, Iron Man style.
Yeah, it has a
exactly.
projector built in as
This
well.
is exactly what I'm thinking of. You're describing this, and it's like Iron Man,
Yeah.
Marvel
I'm
technology.
just saying, maybe like Iron Man.
Perfect.
you
Transparent screen too.
Obviously.
I love it. Obviously.
But that, and then, we didn't talk about. I mentioned it briefly, but a monochrome version of the Q3. I mean,
Okay.
logic dictates we'll see one. Obviously, we have no idea, but yeah, if we talk about this common sense approach,
Sure.
In terms of when, that's anyone's guess. I mean, they haven't even made enough. They haven't made nearly enough Q3s
Yeah, my
to
guess.
satisfy demand. Yeah.
Logically, they need to get through the entire backlog of Q3 orders because everybody wants a Q3, and no matter how many they make, it's not enough.
Yeah.
So
Couple years.
Yeah.
I mean, if we saw it in 2 years, so that's like that would be 2.5 years from the Q3 launch. I think that would be a good, because then there's the Q3's had enough time to everybody who wants one.
It'll marinate.
And also, like, it'll be fully firmware mature and all that good stuff. So I think that's probably something that we will see, but maybe not. Maybe Leica will say, well, the Q3 converts to black and white so well that we'll just keep it. But
Yeah, but there is an M11 monochrome.
that's
So-
true. Right. Yeah. So that's
keep in mind, there's already a monochrome sensor
Yeah.
that's maybe not identical to what's in the Q3, but very, very similar generation.
fair enough.
And they obviously have the processing know-how in the M11 monochrome.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that make its way into the
Yeah.
Q body.
I mean, I don't disagree. Anything in the chat, David? You want to just kick real quick?
Yeah, Q3 with a 92-280 1.7.
It's like the size of a house. And you get the lens hood is also a hat you can wear. I'm down. Count me in. We can defy physics.
I love that.
That would be
I love
just
that.
fantastic.
Oh, I like that. I think actually this is a wish list for everything. Having an Apple Find My type of thing, and so you can find your lost cameras. One of the best things I've seen someone do, a little hack, is getting an AirTag hanger and putting it on their camera strap, on all their cameras.
Yeah. My problem is like the stupid Find My thing. I'll be driving home from work and it says, "Oh, you left your AirPod." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me when I walked out the door?"
That's true.
But yes, that would be cool.
Yeah, usually when I'm about 2 blocks away from the office picking up lunch, I get an alert on my phone. You left your laptop behind. It's like, yes, thank you so much for that. It is a little.
Somebody's saying Q3 has. Oh, yeah, so right. The Q3, all the Q cameras have optical image stabilization built into the lens. They don't have sensor based. I doubt there's room inside for sensor
There
based.
is not.
But
We've had that discussion.
I would take it if they could give it to me. I would take anything.
Yeah, we've had that discussion. Basically, because the camera and the lens are purpose built together. I'm just gonna grab this Q here. The lens actually protrudes. Let me get a close up, Jose. I gotta have a visual aid. So on a regular camera where the mount comes off, the lens would basically stop here, go back just a little bit. What's been described to me, and we unfortunately haven't taken one of these apart yet, but there's always time, that the lens actually comes back to about here, the rear element. It comes back way, way farther. That's partly why there's no mechanical focal plane shutter in this camera. The shutter is also in the lens. It has a leaf shutter. And then that allows the rear element to be much, much closer to the sensor. And the sensor is about right there, and the lens is right there. There's simply no room in here for any kind of IBIS because, unfortunately, that is one that I have specifically asked, and I was given a very definitive
But that's because we're
Not
not in
possible.
charge. So when we're in charge, okay,
Right.
and we're in Wetzlar making our decisions and bankrupting the company.
Well, and I'm going to share one of Kirsten's wish list.
sure.
You kind of sort of touched on it, which was an S version, right? So we
okay.
like she wanted at the time. This goes back already a little over a year, well before the Q3 was out, and she said, "I'd really like a Q2S, low resolution with the same or similar sensor that's in the SL2S for extreme low light, for astrophotography, for video, things like that. Just available darkness camera." And the answer was, and we got the answer right from the horse's mouth in Germany because we were in Germany for an event at the time, and and the answer was, it didn't fit. The sensor didn't fit.
Yeah.
Not it won't fit.
It didn't.
It didn't fit.
That means they tried it.
So Leica actually did try that.
Yeah.
And it was not physically possible to take that form factor sensor and put it into the Q body. So there are some physical limitations. And I feel like Leica has, let's say, a hard rule that it needs to be the same form factor and no bigger.
Julie doesn't believe that we're drinking on air. So cheers to you, Julie.
Cheers.
Join us. Have a
Cheers.
beer.
It's just water in a green bottle. Not really.
It's the best water I ever had. It's supposed to be special water. So yes, I think that's pretty well covered. I mean, I'd like to see a Q3 reporter too. I don't know if they'll actually do that, but I think the removable tablet option is,
You know what?
is the best.
That is a way more practical
yeah,
option.
yes. Just imagine you're just like doodle, just boop comes out, and just like hand it to someone. I don't know.
Can it make that sound too?
Yeah, obviously. Well, that's a feature. You can turn it on.
Bloop.
Makes a little, makes
It's
a little
the,
bloop noise.
the Josh Ploop.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, so let's go back to our list of submissions, and
Where do you want to jump
we
to?
should go to scroll up. I want to save M for a little bit later. Line 21, SL.
Okay.
So this is obviously probably where we got the most amount of
Feedback.
maybe equal to M would be the SL system.
Sure.
Obviously, it's not a secret. The SL2 and the SL2S have been around for a relatively long time within like a sort of product life cycle. So everybody is anxiously waiting to see what's next. Of course, while you're doing that, David and I are out making halfway decent photos with our SL2, but that's fine.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, yes.
Let's talk about a few of the things that we have had requests for, David.
Sure. Wow. Okay.
There's a lot. I mean, there's like 15.
Where do I'm just trying to like start here.
Take your time.
Okay. Wow. There's a lot to digest here. Okay. The most interesting one by far, which I have a theory. So someone wants to see the new SL have a PIN passcode for the user of the camera that can be set daily or anytime. Now, the only thing that came to mind is you have a small toddler at home because I remember when my daughter was little, we had to put passcodes on everything. We had to put it on like the Fire Stick remote, on the iPads, on the phones. Everything had to be key locked. Otherwise, you'd have like a million selfies and pictures of the dog. It was out of control. So I can only assume that the pin pad is for that usage. My suggestion would be take the battery out.
That's right.
Much simpler.
And just don't tell them where it is. That's
They
all.
don't understand battery.
That's
yet.
right.
They understand screens. So take that away. But hey, while we're wishing, right? Leica, come out with a pin code.
Interestingly enough, I think the majority of down-to-earth
Yes.
feedback we got was for the SL system.
Yes.
Just seeing what the Q3 is doing and saying we want those things from a Q3 to an SL successor. So, for example, tilting screen,
Yep.
phase detection autofocus,
Yep.
and a new sensor.
Yes.
Now, since the Q turned into the SL 601 and the Q2 turned into the SL2, I think it's logical to assume that we'll see Q3 tech in the next SL. And hopefully we do because we all know and love the Q3.
Right. And we know and love the SL2 and would love for it to be.
And somebody wants to
Even
have
more
it,
lovable.
to have the content authentication initiative tech that we saw on the M11P.
That's interesting, yeah.
That'd be cool. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because the SL is more geared towards professional photojournalism use, right? So why wouldn't Leica put the content authentication initiative, which clearly they made a lot of investment in that to have an entire hardware encryption chip in there. It makes sense that they would put it in the next SL.
Yeah. And of course, the other feedback we got, which we not only agree with, we've talked about on the show, is better autofocus tracking. David and I will candidly and freely admit that Leica is lacking in that area. They've gotten a lot better since they started with the SL in terms of continuous autofocus and tracking. They've gotten a lot better, but we both agree they are behind in that tech. I mean, the Q3 is a great sort of teaser as to what the future of Leica autofocus could be with the introduction of the phase detection technology. So hopefully we see that on a new SL. Time will tell, but that is probably the most.
Yeah, I definitely see where people want.
And we agree with you. We're not disputing that one bit.
And the thing is, right? We see this technology in another camera that just came out.
Right. So if they're going to do it on the Q3, they're certainly going to do something similar in future autofocus cameras. One would hope. Anyway.
One would hope. Right. So what else do we have here? Let's see. Digital authentication. New electronic.
Well, I want to talk about this.
We're not. Well, let's talk about the camera a little more, and then we'll get to the lenses.
Well, yes. Well, that's because Victor's comment about the. 50.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see.
We got a lot of submissions, so
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of repetition here.
That's
right?
what I mean. Yeah.
Faster startup time, better autofocus, better subject tracking, which we talked about, phase detection, better for action photography. Tilting screen.
And a few requests for an SL monochrome, but I really wonder how well that would sell. I don't really know how well it would sell. I mean, the Q2 monochrome made sense in a way because it's such sort of a self-contained. I just don't know.
I think it would be pretty.
I think
pretty
it'd be
cool.
sick. I think it'd be awesome.
Wasn't there one? Oh yeah. Okay. Someone wanted to have. Well, okay. This is getting to your Iron Man tech again. A retractable color filter array to make it a true monochrome. And flip back and forth between color and black and white. That sounds cool, but physics is...
We just have to have two sensors.
Two sensors. And the sensors flip over inside?
Exactly. Well, they're just back-to-back, right? So this is like that. Well, I guess you wouldn't have space for that.
No.
Maybe it's like a... No.
I'm just going to say those are... The color filter array is not something that's just like kind of sitting in front of it. It's part of the sensor package. So
yeah,
that sounds cool, but I think we need to make a decision of are the color files coming out of, let's say, an M11 or the future SL or Q3, is there no advantage or no disadvantage to converting to black and white versus a dedicated monochrome camera? And I think everybody who's ever watched us or seen any of our head-to-head testing knows there is an actual advantage to having a dedicated monochrome camera.
Yes.
This is why Leica has had success with now, 5 monochromes?
4, M9, M10. No, you're right? M9, M240.
Five monochrome models, right?
Yeah.
3 M's, 2 Q's. And
no, 4 M's, 1 Q.
Oh, wait.
That's what
what? Wait.
Yeah, M9 monochrome.
Oh, right. 246. Right.
M10, M11, Q2. 5.
Thank you.
4 M's.
Because math.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm
David
speculating.
is drunk already.
I'm in the future already.
2 sips of beer already killed you.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've got a proven track record that clearly there is a reason for it to be. Clearly there's a market for it. We've all seen as well that there's tend to be less on the used market for monochromes in general versus color cameras, not just because of the quantities, but relative to the quantities sold, people tend to hold on to their monochromes longer because they also tend to outperform the underlying camera platform by a good amount.
Well, they also tend to outperform the
next
successor.
Right.
We've talked about that. The Q2 monochrome has better low light performance than the Q3 converted to black and white.
Yes.
Which is mind-blowing.
Yes.
I don't know what Leica's secret sauce is, but I think that's...
Well, and the same is true. M10 monochrome outperforms the M11 converted to black and white.
Yeah, I mean, they're closer than the Qs are, but in terms of the malleability of those files and what you can do, even the original monochrome has a very, very, very unique performance that is possible to manufacture in later models, but very difficult, especially if you don't want to go into all that manipulation.
Exactly.
Plus, there's a charm to using the monochrome cameras. It's like shooting a black and white film. That is. Well, that emotional experience.
And it forces you. It forces you to compose, to see, to think in black and white, knowing that there's no, I guess I'll just make it color.
Yeah. No. Jose, what have you missed in the chat? Can you go pull up the chat too as well?
All right, let's see.
There's probably some questions.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Or comments.
CCD sensor SL.
8K monochrome video.
All right, if you want a CCD camera in that form factor, you need a Leica S Type 006. If there was ever a smoking deal on Leica equipment in terms of depreciation, it is S Gear, because they make some of the best lenses and the best cameras in that system, and it has very, very significantly depreciated. But if you want that large sensor CCD experience, get a 006. I'm pretty sure we have a used one with a new sensor in it too. So if you want that feeling, pick up a 006, S70, and like a 180, and you're gonna have a blast. Just saying. Anyway, what else?
Wow. I think Jose is going to need to go through these because there's too much.
Well, let's just start at the bottom real quick. Let's see.
Bring back the Summerites.
What?
Bring back the Summerites.
No, we're not there yet.
SL. We're just talking SL.
We're still on SL.
9.4 million
yeah.
125. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool. Oh, you have to say it out loud because they don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, somebody said, Kevin says a 9.4 million 120 FPS EVF on a new SL. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against a better EVF. I was thrilled that change they made from the SL to the SL2.
What's
White
on there?
ceramic SL.
A what? A white ceramic, like a ceramic AP? That'd be sick. But it would shatter if you dropped it.
Ooh, what about a PVD finish?
Well, like the monochrome watches.
Yeah.
Like the ZM monochrome.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Ooh,
Yeah.
titanium with PVD coating.
Sick. That I would love a titanium SL.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Okay, that's what we want. We want a titanium
We
special
want it.
edition SL. Yes, we would definitely take that.
What else we got, Jose?
I mean, people are saying that the SL monochrome will sell really well. But
Okay, so now if Leica does one and it's a flop,
It's all your fault.
I'm going to play this episode in this live chat in another episode. I'm going to call all y'all out for not buying it. Okay? That's what's happening. I'm drinking to that.
a
Interesting.
dedicated back button focus on the SL, the next SL. No more
No,
joystick.
I don't want that because the joystick does two really useful things at once. It not only activates the autofocus, but allows you to move the focus point around so you can multitask versus having to go from one joystick to move the point around and another button to focus. You can do it all at once. I mean, that's at least my opinion on that.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah. A lot of people saying rangefinder style SL body.
I don't think there's room.
Well, also, I'm just going to show that. The grip isn't just for show. It's also where the battery goes. And the sensor is taking up this space right here.
Yeah, because all the stabilization tech that's in there.
And the stabilization tech and electronics. So where exactly would a battery
And the
this
dual card
size...
slots, like, yeah.
Right, and the card slots are then
Yeah.
inside here. So the cards are here and here.
Yeah.
And the battery's there. There is no space to make this grip go away.
David, this is a wish list episode. So, but no, I don't think we're going to see that. But yes, I would love, although I like the ergonomics of the SL, so I don't think I would want.
No. I think it's too heavy. The lenses are...
Yeah.
The camera's too front heavy with lenses on it that to go without a grip.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know where you're going with that, which we'll get to, though. What other SL stuff we got, Jose?
Let me see. Internal memory, passcode, lighter, stronger body.
Titanium.
Titanium.
Would solve that for
Yeah,
sure.
love it.
reduce the size and weight of the SL.
And carbon fiber.
Oh, yeah, and carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Well, both, obviously.
Naturally.
Well, Pagani has carbotanium. It's a mix of carbon. So you can make it out of, if they can connect with Pagani,
Wait.
make a carbotanium SL.
Wait, what's the moon swatch is made of
Bioceramic?
bioceramic.
Yeah, which is plastic. Yeah.
Well, somebody said they need to announce that SpaceX is contracting Leica for their full-frame Mars mission cameras.
Perfect. I mean, Hasselblad went to the moon. Why can't Leica go to Mars?
I think that would be really cool.
That'd be actually amazing.
That would be epic, yeah.
Oh, can we go? We could do a live stream from Mars.
All right.
That would be. How long does it take light to get to Mars? It was like
9 months.
No, it's not 9. What?
Yeah.
Light? No, light is
not
8 minutes
light.
from the sun.
Not light. Talking about light.
Well, but like the radio signal of our
I
stream.
thought you meant to get there.
Oh no.
It's like 9 months
Well,
to get
that's
there.
fine. We got time. Okay, so that would be sick. What else we got for SL?
That's
Well, we have some lenses to talk about too.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk about the 50 question? Victor's.
yeah.
So basically, Victor says he wants a Noctilux SL50, but that is 50 lux SL is close, and I would agree with that.
Very close.
This is the most underrated lens in the SL lineup for sure. This is, we're gonna get a close up here. Jose, there we go. The 50 Summilux SL. People get fixated on the fact that it's okay, a little portly, and the focus is not as fast as some of the other lenses. But don't let the
It's stout.
don't let the rotundness, don't let the plumpness fool you. If you ever read David's review of this lens on the original SL, this performance is mind-blowingly good. It's better than the 50 Apo M.
Sharper, yeah, in the center.
Sharper.
Yep.
Has a beautiful fall off. The rendering of this lens is incredible. So I think if Leica's already comfortable making a lens this size for the SL, that's a prime, I would love to see a 50 Noctilux XL. I think if they can make the autofocus work, make it an f1 or a 0.95, that would be incredible.
It would be a beast because look at the size of
But
that.
think about the 90-80, we're used to that, so who cares? I mean, that'd probably be the price. It'd be like $20,000.
I mean, if that's 82 millimeter front diameter, you're talking like to make that an f1 or 0.95?
Yeah, it'd be big.
I mean, it would be like 100 millimeter.
But they've done that before as
Monster.
well. So on the 288-28,
Yeah,
it's 110
yeah.
millimeters, I
Yeah.
think, 120. So
That's totally practical.
it doesn't have to be, this is not about practicality, okay? This is about
what
our
we want.
dreams.
It's
This is about our
want,
wishes.
yes. Well, let's talk about what I would like to see.
All right, tell us.
I really and actually we were surprised with the 51.4 SL. Remember we did an episode or two of the Show Us Your Leica kit, and a shockingly high amount of people, much more than we would have expected,
Yes.
had this lens in their kit to complement whether an all zoom kit or the smaller primes, because it really is a unique lens that gives just a gorgeous rendering. I would love to see an extension of the Simeluxes for SL. So personally, I am much more of a 35 guy than a 50 guy. I would love to see a 35-1.4 with that kind of performance. And you know what? It could be that size, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It was because that was a great lens on the R system.
Yeah.
Let's pretend that, you know, this is the SL is the new R system. So for me, a 35-1.4 would be amazing to go with the 50. I don't know if we can get greedy and also go down to 28 and like up to 75.
I mean, I would love to see a line of Simeluxes.
Yeah. The whole
And I think that would, because I think a lot of people use the M Simeluxes on the SLs, not just for the smaller size, but
To get
for
the
the
look.
Simelux look.
yeah, to get the look.
But imagine you have the Simelux look with all the benefits of an SL lens. So autofocus, weather sealing,
Yep.
electronic aperture control, higher performance, closer focusing.
Well, also stuff like face detection and
Yeah,
more.
all those things. Yeah, so that would be really cool. But I see, conversely to what you're saying, if you're familiar with the newer primes, the 35 and the 50
Right here.
non-Apos, these guys right here, I would love to see a complete filled out line from 21 all the way
yeah.
to 90 of non-Apo SL Summicrons
Super
that
light.
are all this size and weight. Because this is 335 grams, give or take. It's the size of an M lens, or the weight of an M lens, excuse me. With super fast autofocus, great performance. We have a show on these two new lenses. I would love to see them fill that line out.
Sure.
So if you either didn't want to invest the funds or invest in the weights relatively of the Apos, you could get a whole line of non-Apo Summicrons that are going to look awesome.
I'd love to see that. Yeah. 21 through 90 would be amazing.
It'd be amazing. And maybe a macro lens.
Ooh. Oh, I think you just hit my
I
high
had to throw
note.
that at you. Yes. Go on.
So much. If we're talking R to SL, as a former hardcore R user and then a hardcore S user, I always had a macro lens in my kit. With my R kit, I had both the 60 macro Elmerit as well as the 100 Apo macro. And on my S kit, I always had the 120 Apo macro Sumerit, I think it was.
Yeah.
The 2.5, which was awesome. I mean, basically like on my S, I would have the 45 and the 120, and then anything else was just supplemental. But those two lenses were like the core of my kit. I never left home without that 120. And still, here we are, 8.5 years later, with no macro lens. Come on, Leica. Why is there no macro lens?
Yeah.
Like they
Give
have
us a nice 100 millimeter 2.8, 1-to-1,
yep.
autofocus, SL, full frame macro lens.
Apo.
That's what we want.
Of course.
Make it $6,000, it'll sell. It doesn't matter. If it's as good as the other Apos are, it will sell. Because it's also great for portraits.
And I'm not even picky. I'll take anything from 60 to 100. Just anything. Like,
Well, I'd like to give 100 because there's already a 90, so this is something different. You could kind of justify having a few different.
Okay.
Yeah. Or even a 120. Just take the design of the 120S lens.
I think it's
modernize it.
It's a little long though. See, that's the thing. And sure, you can adapt the 120S lens, but autofocus is glacially slow.
Yeah.
It's really big because it covers a medium format size,
And it's only 1-to-2.
and it's only one to
Not
two.
even 1-to-1.
So I really would love to have a macro lens.
One day. Never.
And it could be, listen, I'm not picky. It could be 60, it could be 75, it could be 90, it could be 100.
Yeah.
It could be f2, it could be 2.5, it could be 2.8. I don't care.
Right.
Just a macro lens.
Right.
Apo, macro,
Apo, macro, 1-to-1.
and done.
Please.
Leica, it's on you.
Please do that.
That is what I want.
Okay. I think we should end on the SL. I think we should end it there for the SL. Obviously, we can get back to stuff.
Yeah.
Good comments. But now, okay, now it's almost 9, so we should talk about...
Wait, one more thing for the SL.
Okay.
And we're talking about lenses.
Okay.
The primes stop at 90.
You want a 135?
It wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Or 180.
I don't think it would sell well because...
Or 180.
I think it was the 90 to... Oh, it's
Think
big.
about it, a 180, 2.8.
You're stuck in the R mindset.
I am.
I just don't
because
think...
it's what I want.
I don't think it would sell.
It's a great lens, and it's a great focal length, and it would be way smaller than the 90 to 280.
I think a 183.4 like they used to do, that was really small and light, like with an E60 filter size.
Okay.
With
I'll
super
take that.
fast autofocus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be down for that. But not something big.
No monstrosity.
No.
Not like
like
a-
180 Summicron.
No. I want something smaller
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I already have the 90 to 280 that's, about yay big.
Yeah.
And the 100-400, which is about yay big.
Yeah.
Smaller, more compact, high performance.
Okay.
We've got IBIS. We don't need built-in image stabilization in the lens.
Right.
It doesn't have to be crazy, stupid, super fast. It could be a 3.4 or an f4. Like, think about a compact 180 Apo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I just don't know. I genuinely don't think it would sell, but yeah, okay. You're allowed to dream. That's what the show is all about.
I'm dreaming.
Okay, let's get to the good stuff.
Okay.
So,
Let's take a quick breather. Jose, what do we
Haven't
got?
missed anything? Yeah.
Have people lost their minds yet?
A little bit, a lot of
let me see the
comments.
chat again.
Cheers.
A lot of comments going around.
To the SL.
Oh,
See, add aperture rings to all SL lenses.
no. You're compromised weather and dust sealing if you do that. I don't want more moving parts. I want less. Although I get it. You're allowed to have your wish, but that's... I don't disagree.
105 millimeter lens.
A what?
Would be nice. 105.
Oh, I thought you said a 5. I was like,
No,
what?
105.
See behind you.
I'll take 105.
Yeah, 105 is fine.
Yeah,
And macro.
What else?
yeah, 35 Summilux SL. 75 Summilux SL.
See, they like what I had to say.
Yeah, so just take every focal length we like in M&R and make it into an SL lens.
Exactly.
I'm down.
I mean, it's kind of what they did with M and R is they did the same thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the SL, that's true macro SL lens. Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
I think it's time for M.
Ooh, time for M.
Now, to sum up, there were really 2 big requests, 2 big wishes that we got
Let me go back to
in
that.
the M system. You can probably guess what they are, and we'll get into the specifics. But
Oh, I know.
number one,
Yeah.
most requested, image stabilization, IBIS. So,
Although it was tied.
well, okay, right, tied with these 2 were tied. So the 2 top requests for the M system, image stabilization on the sensor, like we see on the SL2. I get it. I would love it if there was no compromise. If the performance was the same and the size was the same, I'd be all about it. I don't know if the body is capable of holding that.
Well, let's postulate this for a second.
Yes.
And I'm going to put it out to the community.
Oh, the community.
The community. It was a very, very large engineering challenge for Leica when they went from the M240 generation, from that platform, to the M10 and cut and shaved down 4 millimeters. You're like, it's 4 millimeters, who notices?
Right.
Well, first of all, everybody noticed because everyone thought that the 240 was a little bit too thick. And the M10 and the M11 are back to film proportions. They're the same thickness as a analog M, which is the ideal M size because somehow that's what we set in history back in 1954. So that's what we have as our benchmark. And that's what Leica had as a benchmark. But and if you kind of go back to the archives, I interviewed Stefan Daniel and Jesko van Onhausen.
It's on Red Dot Forum.
It's on Red Dot Forum. And I interviewed them in person in Germany at the M10 launch. And they were explaining to me the huge amount of engineering that went in just to shave off that 4 millimeters in terms of designing entirely new ways to integrate circuitry in there where it's multi-layered and wrapped around things. Also integrating the heat sink as the body itself rather than having a heat sink on the sensor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They had to redesign the shutter to make that thinner, the whole thing.
Yep.
And because the design goal for the M10 was make it the same dimensions as an analog M, how do we get there? And it was like, you know, a room full of engineers trying to figure out this problem for 2 years. And they did. But imagine, and here's the thing to the question of the community. If Leica, let's say the only way they could integrate IBIS would be to go back and add those 4mm back on to make a new M the size of an M240, would that be okay?
Well, there's the other option, which is...
A detachable sensor.
No, to get rid of the mechanical shutter entirely and have an electronic shutter only.
That's possible?
I think if you give up that, then...
You think we get that thickness?
But the question is, would you want to own an M without a mechanical shutter? I certainly wouldn't want one today. You know, if the technology improves, yeah, I guess. I mean, it'd be weird shooting purely silently all the time or having to rely on like artificially generated sound. But I think that's how you have to do it. I don't know. I mean, they got rid of the base plate and we survived. So.
The base plate's not exactly...
Can we get rid of the shutter? I don't know.
Same thing as a shutter.
But the new Sony, just to bring that up, which I'm sure people ask about or thinking about, it has no
mechanical shutter, right?
So I think if that's...
The technology exists in the world.
Yeah. If that's sort of the next generation, and Leica usually is a few years behind as they get it to their standards, who knows? That would be interesting.
That is an interesting idea.
Would you, I guess I would poll the community, would you give up the mechanical shutter to have image stabilization on the sensor? What are they saying? What are they saying?
Well, they're also about
20 seconds behind?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have time to drink, so that's fine.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea. And on the topic of not enough space
Will we
in a
get
tiny...
an answer?
No.
Yeah, somebody did mention remove the mechanical shutter.
Okay.
And use a global shutter.
All right, one person.
So
yay, thank you, one person. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm going to say, since we're on that topic, the other neck and neck biggest request is...
Well, you want to go to the next one now?
Well, I'll say, because that's really...
Because I was going to show something.
Oh.
Well, I have everyone's attention.
Okay. Okay, go.
So we mentioned there was two big things people wanted for M, and the first one was image stabilization on the sensor, and there's another one.
Yep.
But like I promise, I have cool stuff to show also.
And it is that...
And it's that magical hour of 9 o'clock when I usually take a break from our sponsor, Leica Camera. Oh, shit.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
pull the David right there.
You want to get a close-up on that?
That is the funniest thing ever. First of all, I said you would be the one who would drop it, not me. Oh, here we go. Look, everything's fine.
Living in glory here.
I'm never going to hear the end of this, but it's okay.
Oh.
I have evidence now.
That's right.
I have evidence.
I am.
Oh.
Look at that Leica beer.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Look, everything's fine. It's like nothing ever happened.
If it was German beer, it wouldn't have spilled.
That's right. That is hilarious.
Take the beer away from Josh.
The funny thing is, though, I am known for spilling drinks. When we were David and I were in Portugal, remember this? And I spilled an entire glass of red wine all over myself.
Oh, yeah.
In the store one time, I literally spilled coffee all over someone's lens. So
hold that for you?
No. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my keyboard and my computer.
This tracks. Oh, right. I had to replace Jose's keyboard. So this honestly tracks. I don't drop cameras, but I spill drinks
hold on.
all the time.
Hold on. I did. Remember, I spilled some drink on Yesko when you came to visit.
Yes.
On his notes.
All over his notes, yes. And I think I did one more. Oh, I ruined my own keyboard as well. So I ruined my keyboard. I ruined Jose's keyboard. Thankfully, I didn't ruin any cameras today. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. We put these paper towels away. That, of course, I strategically put.
Cameras are weather sealed. It's okay.
It's fine. That's fine. So what do you want to show, Jeff?
Anyway, as you guys know, I like to show cool stuff every now and then. And in between talking about the top 2 requests for M, IBIS, and the other one, I want to show something cool. It's not M related. It just looks awesome. Something we just got. And make sure this is the right box. Yes, it comes in this awesome box. So you know that it's cool if it's in this box.
It's always cool.
And also you know that it's cool if I'm going to bust out the gloves.
Okay, let's move that
I'm not messing around.
out of the way.
These are my Leica gloves.
Okay.
At least I didn't spill that much beer. I would have been really sad if I spilled it all. I want to finish it. Here we go. Check this out.
That was pretty funny.
Oh.
Ooh.
If you're a car person like I am,
let me move that so you can show it.
You're familiar with Zagato, which is an Italian automotive design house, among other things.
Down a little there.
And
there you go.
There we go. They collaborated with Leica on two different things, one being the M10, but also the Zagato binoculars.
Those are sick.
These are a pair of 8x32 ultravids designed by Zagato in partnership with Leica. They made 1,000 of these for the world a number of years ago, and they sold out obviously pretty fast. It's a fascinating design with a sort of ribbed aluminum barrels that goes through the whole thing. But the best part is, let's see if I can show you
the red
rings with the Zagato script around the edge. It comes with, I had the box, I wanted to show the case. No, the case in the box, bro. Ooh, yes, thank you. It comes with a super, super nice case. Looks like this. Get the close up. There we go. And it has a matching neck strap and wrist strap, which is the black with the red stitching as well. Okay, you can take that back. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for yourself for Christmas or the Leica nerd in your life, these are for sale for now. They come with a bunch of warranty because sport optics from this era come with a limited lifetime warranty, as a matter of fact. So if you're looking for something that both looks cool and is super functional and of course looks in condition-wise.
The eye cups pull out too?
They do.
Nice.
Oh yeah. These are so sick. Oh, I just love the aluminum design.
Yeah, that red on the
red
front.
pops.
The red anodized aluminum here is really, really nice. So anyway, just saying, perfect Christmas gift. There we go. Okay. I promise that there's Bill beer on these.
Very nice.
Anyway, okay. Now that we nerded out for a moment, David, what is
the second?
The second, well, tied for first.
Tied for first.
Most requested M feature on our wish list.
Built-in hybrid EVF.
Oh,
yes.
Those words.
I know, those words. Those words had to be said. So built-in hybrid EVF on an M body so that you don't have to use a Visiflex. That it would be built in.
Very carefully bring my beer back.
and look similar to what the experience you have in the Q. This is certainly something that we have asked Leica people about for many years now. Going back to the M10.
Oh my goodness. I mean, for years,
yes.
This has been something people have asked about.
It is. It is.
Is to have an M camera that works exactly like the M cameras do.
Yes.
And you flip a little button and the optical rangefinder turns into a super high quality SL2 level EVF.
Or Q. Let's say Q3 level EVF.
Yeah, or that. So I understand, obviously, why this is a huge request.
It would be really neat.
It would be amazing.
It would be. I would love it.
Because technology does not exist for that to really be done well.
This is This is the answer that we have gotten every single time that we have voiced this wish list from us, or conveyed it from everybody else. Because clearly, this is not just us that we want this, and the answer has always been the same. And it's always been the same, which is, if we did that, it would sacrifice the quality of the optical viewfinder and the quality of the EVF. So we'd have a subpar optical finder and a subpar EVF.
Right.
Why would we do that? If you want an EVF camera, we have Q3s, we have SL2s.
Right.
If you want an optical rangefinder, we have the M. And the M is not an M without the rangefinder.
But I do get it though, because if Leica didn't want you to have an EVF experience at all with the M's, they wouldn't make the Visiflex.
They wouldn't, right.
But they do, because they obviously recognize all the benefits. And now that we're seeing all these close focus M lenses coming out.
Correct, that are decoupled.
That are not even rangefinder coupled, like you just said.
Yep.
I mean, if they could do it in a way that, like in this perfect world where there's no compromises, and
I'd take it.
I would take it. There's no downside. If you don't want to use it, just don't activate it.
Right.
Or they could even give you like a disable feature where you just turn it off.
Now, that kind of leads into another thing, which is we've had people say, fine, well, you know what? I don't care. I want an M body with an M mount with all the technology that's in an M camera, an M11, and I want an M11, I guess, MD11. In other words, no optical finder, just an EVF. And this has been, again, that's one of the things. So
like a Q that takes M lenses.
Well, which is also something that people have asked for. And we're like, you mean like an M camera?
Well, yeah, but that's what that, because they're very similar in size.
Similar.
So an M camera that had no rangefinder at all.
Yes.
No optical.
And Leica has a history of doing that.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? They have the MD, which was designed for microscopes and telescopes.
Right. We're talking the film
like
MDs, not the digital MD. Yeah.
Not an M10D or an MD 240 2 or no? What was
MD 262.
262.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking in the film era. There was M's that have no rangefinder or viewfinder at all. It's just a solid plate. And those were designed to either be used with, the Visiflex 3? Because you could use kind of an SLR.
Yeah. There was a bit of a rig.
But technically, they were used in the scientific community and military applications for putting onto microscopes for laboratory and also on long-range telescopes and things like that. Just to basically put on there to document what you're looking through another optical system, which a rangefinder would make no sense. So it was a less expensive product. I'm sure we went over this in a previous analog episode.
But no, it's fine to rehash it. It's okay.
So you know what? If Leica got rid of the optical rangefinder mechanism, they could put in a purely EVF system with an M camera and just have no rangefinder coupling or mechanism whatsoever. And what do you think? Is it still an M camera if it's not a rangefinder?
That's the thing is M means rangefinder. So they would have to come out with a new line or call it or put it within the Q line. I don't think they can call it an M. I don't think they should call it an M.
Would you want that though?
No, because if I want, okay, in a perfect, even in a perfect world, I don't know, because I really like the way the SL2 works with M lenses.
It does, yes.
I don't know, man. Look, I'm not going to say no because I don't have to use it if I don't like it, but I do. I don't know. I think there's an emotional experience you have using that optical rangefinder in an M system that you would lose.
Sure.
And if you're going to give that up, you may as well go to a different form factor. But I see that I imagine there are people who own M11s or M10s and only use the VisiFlex.
Sure.
Right? Which is cool, if that's your thing. So they would be good candidates for that. But Leica would have to survey those people and see, because again, would it be cost effective for them to make something like that?
I don't know. I mean, as I think about it, to have exactly the same form factor, but just have a built-in EVF experience, I could get behind that.
I think if it was a really, 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 really good EVF.
Yeah. At least, let's say, at least as good as what's on the Q3.
Yeah. Or better. Because the thing is, because now you don't have any autofocus to rely on, right? So that means you're only
manual focus system only,
manually focusing, and you only have an EVF. So that EVF has to be extremely high resolution,
yes,
and extremely good in low light, because you can't rely on autofocus to back you up if you can't focus it. So
exactly,
that to me is the downside. Is it would be weird to have an EVF camera that's only going to work with manual focus lenses. Now, where that leads to is, well, give me a camera the size of a Q with lenses the size of the Q lens that have autofocus, but they're M mount, so you can put M lenses on it also. Problem solved.
I think that's a lot to process.
You know I'm not drunk because I spilled half my beer.
Right, that's a lot to process. That is a lot to process.
But just imagine that. Imagine lenses the size of like the TL23.
Yeah.
That were full frame. Either M mount or it was a really, really nice adapter setup.
Well, I don't
yeah.
Look, that's a full frame 28.
See? But there's no autofocus in there.
There's not?
Don't tell anyone. But imagine that. We're talking about going crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever see that, but I think...
But we can dream.
I think like a junior... Well, if we say junior SL2, that's a CL, so...
Exactly.
I guess the CL actually was the closest thing to that.
Right. That's the point.
Actually, you know what? I've said this before, but one of the best deals to use M lenses on and stay in the Leica ecosystem is an original T with an M adapter L. Because the original T's, one of the biggest downsides was the autofocus was super slow.
Yep.
But if you're working with M lenses, it doesn't matter. It works with the VisiFlex 020, which is still readily available pre-owned. The bodies are like a couple $100. Even a TL2, which is under $1,000 now, is a fantastic M lens platform. And because it's L mount, you have a huge portfolio of autofocus lenses you can get as well for it.
True.
Just think it. Just thinking out loud.
True.
So anyway, that's really the big request for M.
Between those two.
Is image stabilization. We got a lot of requests for that. And variations of having either an EVF, switchable EVF, or EVF only that's integrated into the camera body. Yeah. To have both of those things and not give up any performance or size would be incredible.
Well, I had the answer right until that last point.
Well, right, yeah. You'd have to be an SL too.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you use an SL body as an M lens platform, you get IBIS.
Right.
You get an insanely good EVF.
Right.
and you get an amazing camera platform around that. And yeah, a lot of users like to use M lenses on SL bodies for that very reason. So it's kind of almost there, and I wonder, you know, is it redundant to have something just a little bit smaller?
There's no such thing as redundancy in Leica. To give me all the Leicas.
Okay, give me all the Leicas. Perfect.
That's what I say anyway. So can we get to I know it kind of gets off bodies, but the third most requested topic within the M world, which was hinted at a bit earlier, which is to bring back what?
Oh, lenses?
Well, which line?
Yes.
The Summits.
I know, but I have more than that. But yes.
Well, there's a lot of lenses we want to bring back,
yes,
but the number one request was to bring back the Summits. However, there's only one way that I would believe that, which I don't currently, because if you all really wanted a Summit, I would not have one for sale right now because it would be sold already. And what I mean is, the reason I'm joking a little bit, but recently we got our hands at Leica Store Miami a mint condition. I'll show you.
Ooh.
50.
I love the close up on your beard.
Summit. Yeah, the beard's important. Here we go. Check this out. Look at this. Yes, we missed the Summits. Jose, can I get a? We missed the Summits as much as anyone else, but you can still get them. They're not super common, but they're out there. And this is a great example of one that's not only mint condition, but it's got the box and it's got the hood and the caps and everything. So if you do miss the Summits, and apparently a lot of you do because you're all saying bring back the Summit lines, somebody prove it to me by buying this lens. Because I hate to see it sitting around because I'm just going to use it myself.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
But yes.
Hand me the 90.
Yeah, I was going to, yeah. Talk to us about the Summits, please. The 2.4s specifically.
Sure. I've got two examples of them right here. That one's upside down. There we go. Oh,
did anybody buy the Zagatos yet? No, right?
Nope.
Drew, if you're watching, yes.
Okay, so these are...
I'm gonna tell you right now.
This is a 35 2.4 Summit, and this is a 90 2.4 Summit. Beautiful lenses, right? The 90 actually is not as large as it looks because the lens shade comes off, and actually really cool, it's reversible, which I always loved. So these two are mine. Surprise, surprise. And the silver is no heavier than a black one because it's aluminum barrel like most modern M lenses. It's not brass. And the 35 as well gets really small if you just take the shade off. So that's a really nice compact lens. We would love to see these reintroduced with, you know, no change. I don't know. Maybe the only thing we could wish for is having them have that close focus range as well. So maybe that gives Leica an excuse to say, okay, these are the Summit version 2s with decoupled close focus range.
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah. So I'm
not complaining.
Yeah. So imagine you have a 35, 50, 75, and 90, like the original Summit line, all at 2.4. I'd even say it would be cool to have a 28 Summit.
I would love
28 2.4
to see a full range of Summits that all take E46 filter size, all have like interchangeable hoods or components like that.
Well, right. That's the other thing. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for bringing it up.
Sure.
This 35 Summit, which is a 2.4, is slower than a 35 f2 Summicron, but the 35 Summicron takes an E39 filter. All the Summits took 46 millimeter. To Josh's point, which is awesome because you can share filters.
It's very much like the Apple SL lenses, which all take E67 across the entire range from 29 to 90.
Yes.
So yes, I would love for them to bring back the Summits.
Like they already designed the lenses.
Yeah.
They're really nice.
We had our petition, which of course got a bunch of signatures, but you know, like it didn't seem
like it didn't do anything.
Didn't take any action on it.
Thanks for filling it out.
But we appreciate your support.
So yeah, to me, it just seems like basic because they're lighter weight, they're less expensive, they're still really high performers, and especially now with cameras like the M11 and the M11 monochrome that perform so exceptionally well in low light, you don't need 1.4 lenses. You don't even need to have two lenses. Like a 2.4 would be absolutely perfect. So I think they were a little ahead of their time when they came out in 2006, 2008, somewhere in there.
The original Summits,
yeah. The original 2.5s,
yeah.
Came out, the 2.5 Summits came out in I think mid 2006.
Yeah, 07, something like that.
Or 7, yeah, somewhere in that range. And then the 2.4s, I guess, were the version 2s.
Yeah.
Okay, so version 3 Summits, bring them out. I think they would be really well received, and especially great for people getting into the M system. So
I think I want to get to my favorite one.
Oh, and this. Well, let me stay on this topic for one second.
Okay.
Hand me that lens right there.
This one?
Yeah.
You're going to talk about this again?
Yeah, I am going to talk about this again. Okay.
I'm going to spill beer on that, okay?
Please don't. All right. So I just want to show you another lens here that you guys are
I
probably
got to finish this so I can't spill anymore.
very familiar with. This is my very well-loved 90 Elmerit, which is still my go-to 90 on every M that I shoot. And I bring this up, and both of these are actually mine, and I've actually used both of these on M11, M11 monochrome, and they perform great. Why do I bring this up exactly? You could come back to me. Because Leica doesn't have a 2.4 or 2.8 90 in the lineup anymore. They only have an f2 and a 1.5. What if...
Well, there's a macro or...
Okay, an f4.
Come on.
Right, but not...
But we love that lens. Don't leave him out of
We
this.
do, we do.
But yes, I get it.
There's no normal. There's no Elmerit or Sumerit in that range, and I think it's kind of a big hole in the lineup. So I'd like to see a 2.4 if it's a Sumerit, or at least a new Elmerit to fill that gap, which would be. Yeah. I think it's missing. I think it's missing in the 90 lineup.
Well, I think we're missing a lot of that sort of compact.
Yes.
And also the price point of the Sumerits, and even the Elmer today is really, really competitive.
Exactly.
It's not $5,000.
Well, here's the other 90, right?
With this one, yeah.
Yeah. So here's a 90 Apo. Just in terms of compare. Let me take the lens caps off for fair thing here. So, it is a fair amount smaller. Look at the size of the glass. Let me open that up. Look at the size of the glass on the Summicron. That's just one stop faster, but it's a fair amount larger.
Yeah. And heavier too.
And heavier. I mean, it's not night and day, right? When I hold these, it's not crazy. I mean, if I had the 90 Summilux here, that thing is like, would engulf both of these lenses together.
Right.
But still, I like having a more compact 90 because it's not my number one most used lens. It's just to extend the range. And I guess, in budget-wise, and I think where the Elmerit and the Sumerits really worked out, we always talked about, with people getting into M, about building a lens kit. And you should focus most of your resources on what you're going to use most.
Right.
Which is, let's say, 35, 50, 28, somewhere in there. So it makes sense to me that you'd make the majority of your investment in something like a 35, FLE, or a 50 FLE, or maybe even a 35 Apo Summicron or a 50 Apo Summicron if you want that next level of performance. And that's where most of your funds should go when you're building a kit. The lens that's going to stay on your camera 75% of the time.
Right.
And then you extend from there lenses like a 21. And thankfully we have the 21 Super Elmar, right?
Excellent.
Which is excellent.
Yeah.
And it's small. And it doesn't have to be super fast. 3.4 is plenty for a wide angle that you're only going to use occasionally. Same thing with the 90. And I think that's where the 90 macro comes in, right? The 90 f4, because it gets you to 90. It's small, but it is f4. It doesn't really have the same kind of look that you can get even at 2.8 or a 2.4 without the bulk or expense of an f2 lens. So there's definitely these kind of holes.
I think so.
The wides and the long.
Yeah, I could come up. I mean, I can come up with a whole list of lenses. That.
Well, you should. You should.
No, well, no. I want to get to some of the submissions.
Okay.
My favorite one, because there's a bunch, but the one I liked the best was a 35 to 50 M Vario Noctilux with
what?
weather sealing in black paint.
I missed
from
that
Drew.
one.
Yes, please. It would be the size of a small horse. You could ride it. But man, it would be cool. I mean, without I mentioned that one to segue into one of the most requested, which is a 35 Noctilux.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
A 35.95 with like 75 Noctilux levels of performance, close focus, with that 35 look, or even a .85. An f.85.
Okay, everything I said about having compact lenses, out the window.
It would be
I want this.
Enormous, but if we're it wouldn't be that much bigger, I feel like, than the 75 Noctilux, which people like. So,
wow.
Could you imagine
the look of that?
What that would do?
The look of that.
The biggest problem would be you'd never be able to make enough.
Wow.
Like it would, I mean, unless it was $40,000, you know what I mean? That would be wild. That's a lens I would love to see.
Ooh. Okay.
And we got a few people that asked about that.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Now what about, because I did mention wide.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Okay. The 21
Give me that one too.
is fantastic. But, well, I'm going to start with this one then.
Okay.
Okay, the 21 is fantastic, and I recommend it to a lot of people. It's like cheating in street photography because you just set it at like 1.1, 1.2 meters at f8, and boom, everything's in focus from like 1 meter to infinity. It is the ultimate shoot from the hip street photography lens, so low distortion, so sharp into the corners, great for architecture, great for landscape, great for street. Absolutely love it. But you know what I would like? I would like if Leica made 24 millimeter lenses again.
Waiting for that.
Because sometimes 21 is just a little bit too wide. And
I think we're going to see an M with IBIS before we see a 24
I
millimeter
don't
lens.
know. But 24, like, why are there no 24 millimeter lenses?
They've made 3, and then
They stopped.
They stopped.
Right. And yet you look, and even in the SL line, there's no 24 aposimicron.
Only in the
it's
S.
21 to 28.
only the S, which wasn't even technically a 24.
It wasn't a 24.
Yeah.
Well, there was. The 30 was a 24
Okay.
equivalent.
True.
And interestingly, the 35, which was a 28 equivalent, became like nobody wanted the 35 anymore. Everybody wanted the 30,
yeah.
because it was 24.
Exactly. It makes no sense.
And you remember that?
Of course I remember that.
Okay.
But why would they translate that to the M system again? Why would they stop making...
I don't know.
They were making 2 24s and they just stopped.
And there is 3 lenses now that go to 24 millimeter on the SL line. The 14 to 20.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There's 4 lenses that go to
True.
24.
Well, that have 24 incorporated.
16 to 35, 14 to 24, 24 to 70, 24 to 90.
That's right.
And I'll tell you a secret. I'll tell you a secret. When I use the 24 to 90 or the 24 to 70 on my SL2, what focal length do you think I spend a lot of time at? I've looked at my Lightroom catalog. I can verify this undeniably. 24 millimeter. And you know what M lens I love? This one, the 24 Elmar. Jose, there we go. Look, why did Leica stop making this wonderful, exceptional lens? This is a gem of a lens. I will not get rid of it. I love this lens. It performs exceptionally well on all the modern digital M cameras. There is nothing bad I can say about this lens. And its sibling, if we're going down this road, they also need to bring back the 18 millimeter Super Elmar, because this is everything that the 21 is.
But I want to interrupt you for
wider.
a second. If they bring this back, it needs to have a standard filter thread.
Oh yeah, this filter thread is
The
abysmal.
adapter with the E77 nonsense
Terrible.
was not ideal. So I think if they bring this back, it's got to have a filter thread.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But seriously, come on, like
While we're talking about M lenses, can I show a really cool lens?
yes.
Okay. So I've got a couple other goodies to show. I'm going to show one more. We talked about this lens already, actually, the regular version, about small M lenses, special small M lenses. And this one is in one of the rarest paint finishes, rarer than the black paint we all know and love, that Leica's ever made.
Now, if it doesn't come with a special cap, I'm going to be disappointed.
It definitely does.
Perfect.
It's in this cute little box, and if you know, you know. Hey, look.
What's the abbreviation for that? If
I don't know. Too many letters.
IYK.
I'm gonna get the beer over here.
Yep. Away from it.
Beer away from the special lens.
More. The gloves are going on.
Oh, the gloves are coming on.
You know it's good.
These are Leica gloves too, so you know.
When the gloves come off, everything's fine.
That's right.
But when the gloves come on.
the gloves come on. Because I take very good care of my special pieces, okay?
Yes,
they're like
you
my,
do.
they're
Yes,
like my
you do.
children. Okay. I'm going to take you back to February of 2019, a long time ago. Leica dropped a couple of special edition things, and what I thought was the most interesting was also the smallest. In fact, you can't even see it. If you know Leica's classic line, one of the most interesting ones is the 28 Sumeron, a lens made in
right there.
brass, the last production lens that you can still get in brass, in terms of the silver chrome brass. They made a very, very unique, rare, and special variation of that. If I can get a close-up here, I will show you.
Ooh.
This,
Might have to go a little higher.
how's that?
That looks good, yeah.
This is the 28 Sumeron in matte black. So it's
Nice.
a brass barrel lens. It's not black chrome, because black chrome is a different finish. This is a matte black finish. That's what they call it. They made 500 of these in 2019, sold out right away. Almost never see these things. It's got this really, really cool red letter or red numbering around the outside for the aperture, and then the white lettering on the barrel, or numbering and lettering on the barrel. So This is one of the first ones that we've actually ever listed for sale on the site. It's mint condition, comes complete with everything. So if you want a really rare, sort of under the radar lens that's a perfect match to one of the black chrome bodies, because it's basically this very similar matte finish to like an M11 monochrome or an M11 or M10, any of those black, those matte black finish cameras. The only time we saw this, in addition to this lens, was on the 28 Summicron matte black and on the QP, and something similar on the 246 monochrome Stealth Edition, and that's it. There's way more black paint, way more silver chrome, way more of all those other finishes. The matte black paint over brass, one of the rarest and most unique finishes, and a finish we just don't see, and a relatively modern one that Leica only introduced a couple of years ago. So if you're looking for something totally different, either to collect or to use, because you could use this lens, matte black 28 Summicron. I'll have Jose drop a link.
He already did. Yeah, looks cool. Looks cool.
Sweet. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, and it does have, I forgot to say, a matching matte black brass cap and a hood.
I figured it would.
Yes,
I figured it would.
So just getting on that, talking about cool lenses for a second. But anyway, I promised I'd show cool stuff, and I have at least one more cool thing, 1.5 more cool things to show you.
Yeah, there's like a tree over there you just can't see. He's removing things from under the tree.
I can only bring so many things into our tiny studio, but I geek out over this stuff, so it's nice to get the chance to show it on air. So, but David, what do we got, or Jose, excuse me, what do we have going on in the chat? What we've talked about so far?
A lot of stuff going on in the chat.
No, well, we've been blathering on with our own stuff, but let's take some user things.
Yeah, 24mm Noctilux.
I mean, that could be like...
Okay. I mean, sure. I love it. What else?
Josh, somebody said, bring back the 14480 hood cap.
What? Okay, that's... No. If you lost yours, then you don't deserve to have another one, okay? Even though I probably lost one at least once. What else?
18mm Apple M. Somebody said the 35 Summilux double spherical almost looks like a Noctilux.
No, I don't think so. It's a lot sharper than an Octilux. And it has, we have a 35 Summilux episode, so if you watch that, you can see I did a bunch of comparisons, including that lens. That lens is disproportionately high performance for its age, whereas in my mind, the Noctilux look is not about high performance, it's about super fast fall off. But the double spherical is an incredible lens.
Hey, Josh, I think, here, I just saw a question here, Jose, or comment, which is more Leica classic releases.
I would agree with that. I think, so if you're not familiar with the classic line, the super, super, super short is they take old lenses and they make them again. 28 Cimarron, 90 Thambar, 51.2 Noctilux, 35 Summilux steel rim.
Yep.
And it's a chance to have a vintage look in a brand new lens with warranty and a modern barrel, and it takes filters.
That you can actually wipe clean with a cloth and not scuff it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as you know, if you watch the show, I'm a huge fan of vintage glass, especially vintage Summiluxes on the modern cameras, whether that's the M11, SL2, et cetera, et cetera. I love that look. I use the steel rim issue quite a bit. I just think that lens is magical. You had some great shots in Germany with it. So I would agree, more classic series lenses. And unfortunately, probably my favorite or tied for first favorite classic series lens, they actually stopped making.
Which one is that?
Which is convenient that we're talking about it, because it's another cool thing that I have to show while I have the space cleared out.
Wow, do you have one more cool thing?
Well, I have two more things, but the last one's a little bit later. So on the topic of cool things that come in big boxes, if you missed the one classic series lens that was discontinued, not only do we have one right now, we have two.
Really?
We never even usually have one.
Wow.
We have two right now, both beautiful. I'm going to do the big reveal here. Oh. Now, the thing about this lens...
Get that overhead with it in the box. That's very cool.
Yeah. The thing about the 90 Thambar is...
Oh, that is pretty.
Number one.
Black paint.
Everyone loves black paint.
Oh,
Everyone forgets the fact that the 90 Thambar is a black paint lens. Everyone always says, oh, black paint lenses, they don't make them anymore, this and that. Well, this is black paint over brass.
Well, it's true. They don't make that anymore.
That's true. Well, that's fair enough. It comes with a silver chrome brass rear cap, which I love. And it, of course, has the center soft focus filter, so you can get those really wild shots. But I generally like to use the lens without it. It's an E49 filter size, so you could throw on a polarizer, or you could throw this on a Q if you want to go crazy, because this fits a Q. Anyway, so if you're looking for a lens that's absolutely wild in the way it renders, even without the center filter, it has no aperture stops. Here's what it looks like that. No click stops here. It's got a crazy focus throw. I love this thing. I don't know. There's just nothing else like it. And it was a shame they stopped making it. I was pretty excited to get my hands on one, much less to have two now. So if you're looking to get your hands on a fan bar, supplies, what do they use?
Supplies last.
Supplies last.
Yeah, and it comes with a cool
the
vintage
case, which even has like the strap inside of it. You can sort of see here. But yeah, I mean, I won't go too down the rabbit hole with this one. But anyway, if you want something funky, Jose can drop a link. We have two of them right now. Again, Christmas present, just saying. But now what I want to ask you, and I want to have each of us answer this question, I think, is if we could bring back one vintage, or even not that vintage, M lens, not the 18 Super Elmar, older than that, to bring into the classic series. Okay. I'm going to ask Jose, I want to ask you, and then I'm going to say, what would you want to see? Either of you can go first.
Gotta think about this.
Okay. David? I'm putting you guys on the spot here.
Okay, how about a 35 version 4 Summicron?
Ooh, the Bokeh King.
I was thinking that.
That would be really, really interesting. I would love to see them do that.
With modern tech.
I mean, it's a pretty modern lens as it is, but what's nice about it is how small it is while still being...
Exactly.
Still being an
Just
F2.
like the Summicron.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, 35 Summicron.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
I think you're going to say version 150 Lux.
I was going to say version 250 Lux.
Version 2? Okay.
Yes. I happen to like that lens a lot. I mean, versions 1, 2, and 3 are all fun. We will do a 50 Summa Lux episode next year, and I'll get into this more. But I would like to see a reissue of the classic 50 Summa Lux. I would also like to see the pre-Apo 90 Summicron. Very underrated lens.
Yeah.
It handles, even the period ones, the original ones, handle really, really well. It feels like a 90 Apo in terms of the barrel construction.
Sure.
But the rendering is totally different.
Yes.
And I also have one more, which is the 20 Delmrit version 4 Preaspheric. Another lens that I absolutely adore, that we never ever see. Super fun lens, E46 filter side, big giant hood, which they could hopefully redesign. So there's a lot. Like the back catalog is very extensive of M lenses. And I would love to see more coming and more stay in the production line versus like the fan bar, which they did for like 2 or 3 years and then kicked it. So,
okay.
I mean, I would say 75 Summa Lux.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would like to see that again. I think that was
also a very different look than a modern 75 Noctilux. I mean, that is not even close.
Yeah.
In terms, because it really, the 75 Summa Lux originally had a Noctilux look because it was built off the optical design of the 51.4, the original one. So it has a really similar fingerprint.
Kevin was saying 20 element, 9 element, which is a version 1, which is also a very interesting lens. But that they would have to redesign the rear elements to accommodate all the modern cameras because that lens, a lot of the early ones did not work on the digital M. So
yeah, it's similar like the 28 or the 21 Super Angulon.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a sweet lens for sure.
Right. Nice.
Okay, so classic. We've talked about classic stars. What else in M? We have a lot of M stuff to cover. Jose, you want to throw some stuff at us?
I got an idea. Okay, but let's hear from Jose.
Somebody said 75mm 2.8 spherical lightweight compact travel lens.
That'd be sick.
Be nice. Yeah,
that'd be really sick. Yeah. Like the size of the Summerite or smaller, but modern, maybe with close focus.
Yeah.
I've seen this question a couple of times. I don't know. Wish Leica would make an M lens dedicated only for monochrome sensors. I don't know if it affects it in any way. I mean, what would be the benefit?
I guess if they didn't have to factor in chromatic aberration.
I mean, technically speaking, if you believe the folklore, the original 50 Noctilux was developed for black and white, which is why theoretically Mandler didn't correct for the blue channel, and it has this blue drift. That it gave kind of this ethereal like a glow on 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 black and white, and then in color you just see blue. But whether or not that's true or not, other people would maybe know the answer to that. But I don't know if in today's modern lens design, I don't think there's much of a difference designing a lens that performs really well for color and really well for black and white. I think they're the same thing.
Fair enough.
I could say things that I'd like to see. And I think you and I agree on this, which is, we've seen now the 35 and the 50 Summa Lux redesigned with the close focus. I'd love to see that just roll out.
I think 50 Supercross version 5 needs a version 6. I think the 90 Apo needs a new version. I think
But all with close focus ability.
50 Apo with close focus would be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Wow.
common sense stuff. We're not shooting for the moon here, but I think that's all doable.
Yeah.
Other lenses.
What about the 75 Cron? Make that focus closer?
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. It already focuses really close, but I wouldn't be against it. I think Leica has to be careful though, because if you're a film shooter or an M9 user, or you just don't want to rely on live view, if you start getting into those close focus lenses and get super aware of that detent, you may find yourself wondering why your rangefinder patch stopped working. So
Exactly.
there is a little bit of like sort of buyer beware in a sense.
Yep.
At least getting used to the way these new close focus lenses work,
Yes.
so that you know that there's going to be some limitations there. And I've seen a lot of people shooting film gravitate towards the original FLE 35, for example, because
Exactly.
they don't have to worry about it. They know when they slam it over to 0.7.
I've already had this conversation twice this week.
Oh, there you go.
Of
See?
this exact thing. Because, yeah, when you're in the moment and you're focusing and you go past minimum distance, you don't, the rangefinder looks like it stopped and you're still fiddling with it, but it's now throwing you horrifically out of focus. And on film, you're not going to know it until you get your film back.
Right. So just food for thought on that front. But let's keep going. Jose, what else? Did we miss anything in the chat, or can we go from back to the list there?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What do we got?
Well, there's a couple other
Sure, fire away.
there's a couple other suggestions for some vintage lenses.
Okay.
I see here a
50 Sumitar, DR, rigid,
dual range,
yeah.
a dual range Summicron reissue would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like functional where you
Yeah.
wouldn't need it with goggles.
Right.
Like
okay.
a dual range Summicron that was dual range just by itself.
Right. Okay.
That would be really
That'd
cool.
be fun.
I think that's kind of cool. And also a 85 Sumerex, which is kind of like a 90 Thambar
Okay,
type
I
of
guess.
lens.
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, they did the Thambar, so I don't know if they would do a Sumerex, but okay. I'm not against it.
So if you think the Thambar focusing is quirky, use a Sumerex,
Yeah.
and then you can see really quirky. 35 Cron 8-element reissue.
Radioactive lenses. No.
Radioactive lenses, yeah. I feel like there's some regulatory reasons we can't do that, but okay. I'm down.
There's some cool stuff.
Yeah, we should go on to the next
Yes,
topic of it.
yes.
Go back to the list, because I have a whole M lens section.
I know.
Oh, the zoom lens thing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, so going the opposite direction from avoiding
Yes.
the close focus
Yes.
lenses, what about non-rangefinder coupled at all M lenses
Just
that
M mount.
are purely designed for using live view,
EVF.
either on an SL body with an adapter or on an M camera with an EVF?
I'm there for it, especially if it could be a true zoom. I mean, imagine you had like a 24-70 2.8 Vario M that's not rangefinder coupled.
Yeah.
And it would be continuous. You could have one lens, and this is all full circle, right? People want a smaller, more compact, full frame live view camera. What gets smaller and lighter and more compact, whatever, than an M body? Let's say you got an M11 with an EVF on it and a 24-70 2.8 Vario M mount manual focus, but non-rangefinder coupled.
That's
That
a
would
mouthful,
be
but that'd be sick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sign me up. That would be so cool. And if we're thinking it through, what about a telephoto zoom?
Like a 70 to 180.
Like a 70 to 180
Bring it back.
M-mount lens.
Bring it back.
I think this, and
I
they'd be
think-
so small. They'd be so much smaller than adaptive lenses.
I think you'd have to have a new hand grip that was bigger,
Yeah.
but it would go really well on the SLs.
It would as well.
But at that point, you may as well just make some lightweight SL, like we were talking about, SL autofocus lenses. Maybe not yet. Maybe that's just two-headed. Maybe when there's an EVF M like that we talked about, maybe when that exists, and this is easier to justify.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
let's
about-
talk
And I just saw pictures. Someone posted pictures of I guess it was an unmade prototype of a lens that they saw at the museum when you
Okay.
guys were over for the LSI thing.
Okay.
They had like a follow-up to the original 28-35-50 Tri-Elmar.
What, the quad Elmar?
The quad
Well,
Elmar.
they auctioned off the prototype a couple years ago.
They did, okay.
Yeah, it was a 28, 35, 50, 75.
But they made one.
I think they made a couple, but they sold one of them for hundreds of thousands.
So would you like to see that lens?
I mean, if it was rangefinder coupled, yeah, why not? If it was, I mean, the thing about the Mate, the 28, 35, 50, is it's fun and unique, but the performance is not really up to snuff for modern M's.
Right.
If you could have a quad Elmar that was like Sumerit level performance and rangefinder coupled, maybe with close focus,
And again, before its time, before we had really excellent high ISO performance, where an f4 lens is negated.
Yeah. No, I'd be down. I mean, I think that'd be fun. Again, I just would not want to have any dramatic performance compromise. I'm okay with aperture compromise.
Sure.
I just don't want to have performance compromise.
Sure. Agree. I'll agree.
Okay, so that we'll scroll down a little bit because we covered all that stuff. I want to go to the other.
We got that. Yeah.
Other M section. We have a couple. We have a bunch of random ones.
Okay.
One of the things a few people asked about was weather sealing on M bodies and lenses. Obviously, they'd have to redesign the mount because the mount needs to be sealed. Like there's a gasket around it. I just use an SL for that, but I get it. I get why.
It would also be challenging because you have such a back catalog of M lenses.
Infinitely customizable frame lines.
Oh.
So you could mount any lens you want and put the frame lines up. Would be cool.
Well, wow. You just like sparked a little like neural circuit that hasn't been activated in a while. So I remember having a discussion with Steph and Daniel in 2007.
Oh, the old days.
In the old days. And we were sitting in a basement pub in Germany and talking about this idea of like variably projected frame lines, using an LCD panel. So not LED illumination, but LCD. So it would be like, it would be able to turn on and off opacity, right? So imagine having frame lines that would be parallax corrected and also correct for magnification. So they actually size based on the lens on 6-bit coding tech.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, this was something that we were just tossing around as this like crazy idea for future think. But listen, technology's come a long way since 2007.
That's very true.
It would be pretty cool, instead of frame line sets, to have single electronically projected frame lines that moved and changed based on lens profile.
Yeah,
it also would make it more practical for a zoom.
I think that could be, we saw a major improvement in the rangefinder from the 240 to the M10 with the 0.73 and the larger viewfinder and the larger eye relief. I think the next big game-changing functionality could be that. Could be more control over frame lines. And also where you could change the color, change the brightness. And we still have red frame lines on the 240 generation. I'd love to bring that back.
That was cool.
That'd be really, really cool. I don't know how difficult that would be, but like you said, technology has come a long way. So
anything's possible if you believe.
It would be very cool. Some other stuff. Let's see.
Well, here, and that would, and there's, a lot of people are saying
one frame line.
Exactly. One frame line instead of multiples. There's a lot of things here.
A lot of very specific stuff, which I get. Everyone has their own sort of thing.
Well, this is interesting too. Someone says a 2-tier M system equivalent to SL2 and SL2S. I'm not opposed to that. So what, like an M11S that would be lower resolution, but much, much better for low light performance?
Yeah, it would have. The thing is though, because how good M11 is now.
Yeah. It would have to be exceptionally good.
Really, really good. I mean, I think the gap between the SL2 and the SL2S is significant, but I think it'd have to be double that to merit having another line. Because otherwise, you could downsize and use AI noise reduction on those M11 files, and they look incredible even more so. But I think something like the M-Type 262, which was a variation of the 240 without live view, without EVF port, it was lighter and had a quieter shutter, would be really interesting. I would like to see like a essentials, like an ME almost.
Would be cool.
So yeah, I mean, I'd be intrigued by that.
I don't know if it's on here, but I'd still like to see an M11D.
Yeah, with no screen.
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't think it's going to happen because everybody sort of poo-pooed the, not everybody, a lot of people poo-pooed the M10D.
Yeah.
And it had a very short run of like a year and a half.
It did.
Of course, now they're super rare.
Right.
But I wonder if Leica would be a little bit skittish to do an M11 version of that because they just don't know if they could sell enough.
Right.
So I don't think we'll see that, but like I said, the more the better. Before it's 9:45, so I want to show one last cool thing.
Okay, yeah.
A tiny thing, a
one
cheap
more cool thing.
not no crazy expensive stuff.
Nice.
And then we can finish up.
While he does that, I'm going to read.
This is our hottest seller right now since Wednesday. We talked about black paint. Everybody loves black paint. Black paint is the most legendary, the most beautiful, in my opinion, of all the Leica finishes, which is a black lacquered brass. If you're familiar with Kamaru, that is a company based out of France that makes really beautiful and interesting soft releases for M cameras and, of course, now the Q3. Well, just this week, we received the latest special edition of the Camaro, which is in this little bag, which is, can we get a close up of
That's so
this?
little.
I know. Try to get it. The Camaro black paint.
Do you want to put it on a camera so you can see?
Well, I want to show the bottom first. So this is solid brass, made in France. So it's got a conical, you can't even see that. It's got a little conical thread, so it works on any M camera that has a threaded shutter button, or the Q3. And it is a beautiful, perfect match to a black paint M. And it will brass and patina over time with use. There's only 250 of these for the world, although they're going to sell out, so I'll probably convince him to make another 250 next year. But for now, no promises. And you can see it just has that beautiful sheen. They're all hand finished, which is why there's so few of them. And he said the designer who makes these had said he spent, I think, 2 or 3 years trying to find the right person to partner with to make the brass for these. So they're absolutely beautiful. And instead of having to spend thousands of dollars for your Christmas gift for Leica, you could spend $80 and get this beauty instead. So if you have black paint MP, black paint M10R, any vintage black paint camera, even a black paint M9 or MP240, which is not quite as glossy as this, but this will look really, really good. Or just something to contrast, like here it is on M11 monochrome. Throw it on there real quick. It's like a nice little pop of sheen. Here we go. Look at that. Sweet. See, it sits really nice. And it's also a nice soft release. I mean, the whole Camaro line is really, really well made because it has sort of the concave and convex section, so depending on how you like to use it. Absolutely beautiful. So Jose will drop a link in the chat if he hasn't already. If you want to get a not $5,000 Leica Christmas gift, you get this cool little baggie. So, you know, it's cool. Anyway, I don't have any more cool stuff to show you. I'm sorry. That was it.
Oh, well, careful.
I know.
Okay,
so let's wrap up. Let's
we did miss a few things.
No, we got time. I'm saying let's finish out the show. Just power through a bunch of requests.
What about? We haven't mentioned this at all. Anything on compact systems?
This is going to be the new screenshot.
Us looking.
No, me spilling the beer is going to be the next thumbnail. Let's be real.
Oh, we're gonna use that for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So the Deluxe 7 was discontinued, and people come into the store every single day
looking for
asking
Deluxe
them.
7s. Yes.
They sell more now pre-owned than they sold for new, oftentimes. So yes, I would love to see a new compact camera.
Be great.
I don't really have too many complaints about the Deluxe 7. I know it had a lot in the menu system, but you only really had to change a couple of things.
Right.
I honestly, they could just keep making that, and I'd be happy. It certainly would be nice to see
An updated sensor, maybe.
a newer sensor. I hesitate to say one made in Germany because it would be way more expensive.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see like an Xvario, smaller and faster.
I'd love to see a modern Xvario. That brings us full circle, Josh.
That's true.
Yeah.
It does, yes. Yeah, that would be cool to see a modern Xvario.
Love the Xvario.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The Deluxe cameras have an incredibly long lifespan. I mean, I had a Deluxe 5.
Yeah.
As you know, I had a Deluxe 6.
Yeah.
I had a 20 by 30 from the Deluxe 6 in the store for a year. That thing was beautiful. So they really punch above their weight class.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a darn shame. You can still get the Velux 5, which is a camera that, you can hold it up, that we also use quite a lot. Kirsten did a great review of this camera on Red Dot Forum. These are still available. I have a 20 by 30 from Switzerland in the store from this camera, and people think it was shot with an M because it really does print quite nicely. So, yeah, I'd like to see new compacts. I have again, something made in Germany with a real German lens on it, but if it was $5,000, it would kind of just be a Q.
Yeah. I feel like, the market's not really... I mean, I say the market's not there, and yet people are coming in all the time looking for that.
Yeah, I think if they just did a Deluxe 8, just
new
revamped
sensor,
with new sensor, I think it would just continue to sell well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if Leica just wants to stay away from that part of the market and just focus on their, for the same reason they discontinued the CL.
Right.
Maybe they just want to focus on the full frame stuff. But like you said early, we need something
to fill that gap.
Because right now with the Deluxe being discontinued, there's nothing new.
Exactly.
You have the Velux 5. Aside from that, nothing new under 6,000.
Right.
Which is
crazy.
Yeah, I know Leica is a premium brand, and that's fine, but I still think that there's room.
There needs to be room
for something under that $6,000 price point that people either getting into Leica get into, or people who are just looking to augment their M or SL kit could have as well.
In that $2,000 to $3,000 range.
Yeah.
Why not?
That'd be really nice.
We think there should be.
I like how almost nobody wanted a new film camera. One person wanted a reissue of the M3, and that was pretty much it.
Somebody said reissue of the M5.
No.
They're just trolling us now.
Yeah, that's trolling.
Or the a la carte program.
I mean,
Cool.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with a la carte, back in the day, Leica would build you an MP or an M7 with crazy customizations.
Exactly what frame lines you wanted.
You could pick your frame lines. You could have a black chrome MP with only 35mm frame lines and an M7 style rewind knob and any leather you wanted and your name engraved on the top plate. And you could have no writing on it whatsoever, so it was totally stealth. Crazy. And now they've become really, really rare and really collectible. You can have an M7 in black paint.
Exactly.
Like an MP. I mean, they're gorgeous.
And you can change the rewind knobs, the
Oh,
advanced
goodness.
levers. the whole
Beautiful,
thing.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So I would love that. I doubt.
Yes. How about this?
Yes.
Bring back the like a la carte program.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bring it back. Even for digital. Like, give,
digital.
Maybe there's
Oh,
not
I
as
love it.
many options, but I don't know, like a different ISO. Where's an M camera? A different ISO dial, maybe. Maybe different material for the body. Like if you wanted black to be brass as opposed to being
Ooh.
silver, only
Yeah.
silver brass.
Silver aluminum.
Yeah, silver aluminum. I mean,
Awesome.
there's a lot of things you could do.
Silver paint.
Silver paint. I think it would be cool.
Could we get that gray paint that was on the M9?
The steel gray? Yeah. I think I would love to see them bring back the a la carte program. Different leather. I mean, different leathers you can still do, but
Right.
more than that. But I don't think they have the individualization of production to do that anymore. They're just too big
It
now.
would be cool though. It would be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
You know, and there was also a request, I think I saw maybe in the chat, about just like the film days, there was more than one viewfinder magnification offered. It would be interesting, even if it was just an a la carte basis, to have a 0.58 finder in an M11.
Well, that kind of brings me to something I had mentioned to you the other day, which is I would actually like to see M bodies with integrated diopters, like an adjustable diopter in the viewfinder, like we have on the SLs.
Or the Q.
Or the Q.
Yeah.
We don't have that on the M, so you have to buy those little screw-on diopters. And
Yeah.
if you don't get the right one, you got to send it back. I would love to see that. And at the same time, it'd be cool to have just a variable magnification. Like it's two knobs.
Oh, that's
And you turn
interesting.
one knob to change the magnification and one knob to change the diopter. And you could dial it in exactly the way you wanted
Nice.
based on if you're wearing glasses or not or what lens
Pretty
you're
cool.
using.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I feel like that's doable.
Yeah, just make the body like 10 millimeters thicker.
That's totally fine.
Done. Done. I love it. I love
Like
it.
that much, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I see there was other requests for zooms, whatever. Let's see. There was also what was that? Oh, we missed this one. A truly macro M lens that does not need adapter and can shoot sharply 1:1.
Well, here, let me ask you this. Let's say, like I said to you, we could do either an SL
Don't do it.
autofocus lens or an M lens that's 1:1. You could adapt it to the SL and give up autofocus. Which would you take?
The SL lens.
Yeah, I
100%.
figured. Yeah, I figured
100%.
Yeah, because the autofocus is really nice to have for macro.
It is, and weather sealing is
Also
critical
true. Yeah,
for
doing
out
your
in the field.
wet leaves.
I love wet leaves.
I know.
You know I love wet
I
leaves.
know you do. That's what I said that. But yeah, there is definitely, I mean, we have a whole macro episode. Obviously, if you know the show, you've seen it. If not, you should check it out because there are a lot of ways to get 1:1, a lot of ways to do macro with Leica, but there's not a full frame native 1:1 lens that exists right now. Sad face.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, let's see what else we got in the chat as we get towards the end of the night.
Let's see. Screenless monochrome SL2 film version. L10
wait,
reissue. Yeah, a lot of
SL2
stuff
film
going-
version? They made that. It's called the Leicaflex.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
A medium format
a lot of-
SL.
Or, well, I mean,
They're going to do that. They said that publicly. That they're
Really?
gonna well, they said the S4 is in a medium format. Yeah.
really?
Yeah, that's a public thing.
When was that said?
During COP.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. No, they've literally, that's not,
Really?
I'm not on, there's no like,
Wow.
there's no specifics. They haven't told me anything. That's
Wait.
not like an NDA thing. It's like they've said they're going to do a mirrorless S4. Now, of course, just because they're saying it doesn't mean they're going to do it. And they said they were going to do an R10. How'd that work out?
That was exactly what was going through my mind just
I
then.
know.
You beat me
but
to
they
it.
have publicly stated, so I'm happy to share it here. If you don't know already, that they're going to do
Really?
supposedly
Wow.
a
Somehow
mirrorless-
I missed this. I think
we
I
talked
was,
about this.
You weren't invited, David.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah, no,
I
they said
wasn't
it. They
invited.
said it
I-
publicly. They said it at the LSI meeting as well.
I wasn't there either.
Well, you missed out. So I thought, that's why I'm
invited.
happy to say it.
Wow.
I don't think they would, if it was a secret, they wouldn't tell me because it's way too far out. So we would never know that.
Okay.
But I think it's years away. They didn't count, like Leica didn't say any specifics. They just said, because the reason is they discontinued the S3.
Yes.
And simultaneously said, we're discontinuing the S3, but we're not abandoning the S line. That's why they did that unusual move of saying what their future plans are, which they don't usually do.
No, never.
Because they wanted S users to know that there is still a future to that system.
Interesting. So
and they even said there'll be adapters to use the original S lenses on the new body.
Nice.
So that was the only thing specific they said at the LSI meeting.
Interesting.
Again, this is, just sort of public stuff. I don't know if that's really going to happen. I don't know the specifics or the timing. I'm not keeping a waiting list or anything like that. But again, I thought it was really cool that Leica, actually normally very reserved company, said in front of a whole 300 people that we are going to continue the S line, which is pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
What else we got? I see people ordering Camaros. Yay!
80mm Super Apple Summicron SL.
Well, Super it has.
Wait.
Super has to be wide angle.
Yeah. Well, 18.
Oh, an 18.
Yeah. I'd like to see an 18mm prime.
That'd be
Why
sick.
not? Why not? Give it to me. I love 18s.
Give me all the primes.
Give me all the primes. I'd like to see, if we're talking about prime lens, I'd love to see like a 14mm.
For the SL?
Yeah. A prime 14 would be pretty sweet.
Okay. For astrophotography.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Personally, I would like to see more exotic, like we talked about Summoluxes for the SL, like, because as you know, I love the 75 Noctilux and 90 Summolux.
Yep.
Lenses like that are autofocus, weather sealed, and have SL performance would be awesome.
Wow.
And also the closer focus, because that's the big limitation of those two M lenses is the autofocus cycle.
Autofocus.
Yeah, of course, would be amazing.
Do you think with the new technology now, they could remake the 50 Summolux SL and just make it way smaller and lighter, but still with the same look?
No, I don't think so. I think if they could have done it, they would have, because it's not that old. It's not like there's been huge leaps and bounds in the last 5 years in that respect. Now, I mean, I don't know for sure because I'm not an engineer, but I doubt it. I don't mind the size of the 50 Lux SL. It balances fine on the SL, and the performance is so good, and the rendering is so unique without giving up any of the benefits of an SL lens that I don't understand why more people don't use it. Because I don't know. I mean, I get it, but if you use the 24 to 90, this is a little bit smaller.
It is, yeah.
No big deal. It doesn't protrude out. It just works. But
it just works.
Any last couple of questions in the chat we need to address?
Let's see. I need another Lenny Kravitz edition.
Just get a regular camera and just, put it through a wood chipper.
Well, he already had two, so...
Another one, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, a third one, yeah.
Disposable film camera with a plastic Summilux lens.
Okay. I like the creative. I like that. I think disposable Leica is a little bit of an oxymoron. But, okay, fine.
Interesting. Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of random...
Well, yeah. Anything that sticks out of you, we can go to the chat, Dave, if you want to.
I'd like to see a...
400mm and 600 for the SL.
We didn't mention it, did we?
Yeah.
Maybe like an F4. But...
Yeah, I think that's... But I think the fact that the SL's tracking autofocus isn't great kind of goes hand in hand with the lack of super telephoto lenses. So I want to see them nail the autofocus first.
Yeah, and then get 400,
before
600
we
millimeter.
go beyond the 100, 400, 280.
There was such legendary long teleglass for the R system. Yeah, why not? Leica has the expertise in making these lenses. I think it would be fantastic if they could bring it to the SL line. Now, they might also say, well, that's what we have the L-mount lens. Just get a, a Sigma or whatever.
I don't want that. I want a Leica lens.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I want a Leica lens.
I know, it has a red dot on it. It's so much better.
Oh, what else we got, Jose? It's 10 o'clock, so we can wrap up soon.
Leica should buy its own film company.
I mean, with Kaufman, it's not out of the question.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's done crazier things. I mean, they're doing all kinds of weird stuff.
But it wouldn't be Leica, it would be Lights.
Right.
It would be E-Lights Film Company.
Lights Film.
Yeah,
Limited
Lights
edition Hammertone M11.
Sure, why not?
I wouldn't say no to that. That'd be sweet.
We love it.
I love the Hammertone finish.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of comments.
Well, let me go to the chat, David. Let me see.
Oh,
Go.
Did you ever write that down? I was talking about. I think Leica should branch out for collaborations.
We talked about that, right? So
like Porsche,
like collaborating with Porsche or collaborating with
amazing.
BMW because BMW has the M3, Leica had an M3. Yeah, I'd like to see more like car or sort of like gearhead stuff. Branding would be really fun. I mean, I like that they collaborated with Hodinkee because that kind of like tied in my watch obsession.
Right, but imagine like a camera that's painted in Guards Red.
Well, I think that Porsche would launch a car Or like a very, not a car, but a very an
special edition. Yeah,
and the Leica would launch a camera. I mean, Hasselblad had a Ferrari, like a Hasselblad, so why can't Leica do something like that? It'd be with a German.
It was carbon fiber too.
It was carbon fiber.
Yeah. See?
So with a German company, like with Porsche.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
The Porsche Edition M.
I would love it.
I'm just saying.
Although they have an existing history with Audi design, so maybe it would be
okay.
Audi.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, they've done some weird collaborations. They did a BMW X1. They did a Jaguar Owners Club.
They did the Jaguar
X2.
one, yeah.
They did.
I mean, they did the Zagato editions.
Or the Zagato, which we just showed. Yeah. So there's been some, but I'd like to see more.
SO2 black paint.
Okay. Yeah. Just black paint everything.
I'd rather it be titanium, but sure.
Just take all the products, lay them on the table, just have a hose of black paint, just spray them all.
Spray them all down.
Black paint. Oh boy.
I mean, I would like to see a drone with a Leica lens. That's very popular nowadays. And
yeah, like a drone.
Yeah, at least with a Leica lens, or I mean, like a drone, just like the whole thing.
I mean, technically, isn't DJI in the L-mount Alliance now?
I feel like they are.
They are, yeah.
I'm just thinking how, like, given my propensity for
Hasselblad
breaking
also.
things,
and they own Hasselblad.
That'd be a very expensive crash that I would have.
And the drones fly themselves now.
Yeah, okay, fine. But that'd be cool. I agree.
What else? Anything else? I see there was other things here, but
a lot of comments. I mean,
yeah, I don't think we can't cover it. So I think,
yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this one opportunity, A, to see me spill a beer on YouTube, but also to have us do what we never do, which is just speculate wildly and dream and wish about.
In fact, I think you spend the majority of most intros saying how we're not going to speculate about what's coming next.
I do, because we don't. And you can see why, because as fun as it is,
it's a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole, and it's not that practical in terms of like getting out and making photos, but it's still fun.
It is fun.
And that's why we dedicated, 2+ hours of our Saturday evening to talk about it, because we get it. I mean, it's fun to wonder and dream about what crazy things we could do if we were at the reins of Leica and said, just do this, this, and this. So,
yes,
this was fun.
This was fun. This was fun, and I think this was also a sneak peek in terms of, the nerding out that we do behind the scenes.
Yes, it's pretty bad. If you've ever hung out with us in the store, it's
we do this.
Yeah,
we do this, but then we get it out of our system so that to everyone else we're like, we don't know. We don't know what Leica's going to do.
Because we don't know. That's the disclaimer. We really, this is all speculation. We don't know.
Oh, no. Here we go. Look. Really fun and amazing to know Leica's coming out with all of those ideas. No!
Yes, that's right. We are going to see the 35 to 50 Vario Noctilux coming out on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Get your pre-orders in. Now, what you have to do is make a checkout, but don't make it out to Leica. Josh Lehrer. I'll give you my home address. Mail it to me. Non-refundable deposit. To go towards the watch fund, obviously. Now, this was fun. We had a good time, and we'll be back sometime next year.
Yes. Actually, I think we have a date.
Do we have a date?
I think we do have a date.
Okay.
I'm going to look to see if we have a date. Please hold. Please hold.
Stand by, please. Is it on the calendar?
It's on the
I think it's on. Is it in the Teams?
I think it is. That's what I'm looking at.
We're figuring it out. David's looking.
I'm looking.
But I mean, we'll do next year. I just burped. 52 bucks.
Congratulations, Josh.
Well, I don't usually burp on there because I'm not drinking anything carbonated.
Our next scheduled show is Saturday, January 13th.
January 13th.
It's on the calendar.
I don't know what we may do. I need to do a 50 Sumulux episode. We need to do an episode on the watches. Maybe the Photos app we'll do. We have a bunch of ideas coming up for next year. It just depends on what we're doing and when. But certainly, stay tuned. We have tons more content coming.
We do. And if you just can't wait till then, you can check out the playlist. We have all of our many, 70-ish episodes of Red Deformed Camera Talk on our YouTube channel in glorious 4K.
Lorena did give me a good idea. We should end the show with each of us giving our number one wish.
Oh.
If there was one thing.
Oh, no.
One thing that we could do, what would it be?
Really? I'll let Jose go first.
I mean,
how's that bus feel on top of you, Jose?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it could be. It doesn't be your top.
Crazy, but I think something that would really make sense, and I really think it would be a really good seller, is the SL monochrome. Like, I think there's a lot of room for that, just because all the lenses that you can choose from, the performance of the SL lenses, the look of the 70 years of M lenses. Like, I think people really dig into the whole, obviously weather seal, so you get all the features of the SL, but with that monochrome sensor.
Okay.
I think people would love that, to be honest.
Mine is easy. I think about
go.
it all the time, which is, and I didn't mention it on the show yet. I want vintage classic series lenses in SL barrels. So I want to have the rendering of like a steel rim with autofocus, weather sealing, and all the electronic controls.
Wow.
Because when you're going out,
Tough.
like I do often with like a 1.2 Noctilux or a Thambar or a steel rim or a Vintage 50 Lux on the SLs, you're really struggling to manual focus sometimes if you're trying to be precise wide open because of how low contrast the lenses are. So I would love to see, I'm just saying, if I could wish anything, autofocus classic series SL. So classic series M design in an SL barrel with SL features. That's what I want.
That is so out in left field.
What you want? What do you want? What's your brilliant idea then, mister?
I just want a macro lens for the SL.
Okay, that's fair.
Dear,
That's
Dear Santa.
That's right.
All right. I am not going to shoot my eye out. I want the little reference there. I would like any focal length from 50 to 105 millimeter. I'm even broadening this. 50 to 105 millimeter in any aperture that you deem fit, as long as it is a prime lens, SL performance product, preferably Apo, and and preferably 1-to-1 macro. Please, please, please. That's all I want. That's what I want. I'm going to check my tree in a couple days, and it's going to be under the tree.
I think after this, you can decide us off now.
Oh, okay. Well, what does Lorena want?
She didn't tell me.
Oh, okay. Hey, look.
Jose's got the Christmas hat back on.
Jose's got it. Okay. All right. So, again, if you want to check out other episodes, we have a playlist on our YouTube channel. You can check it out. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos of us crazy Leica people talking about crazy stuff, usually more factually driven and less fantastical, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already haven't already done so. Make sure when you subscribe to click the notification bell so you know when we post new content. Also, if you're into such things because people have asked for it and it's about granting wishes this time of year, I have enabled all of our back episodes as a YouTube podcast as well. So you can listen to them on your drive or whatever. So if you do YouTube podcasts, they're there. Also, we just started putting them onto Spotify podcasts as well. But it is going to take a bit to convert everything and upload it to Spotify. But our last episode is there. This episode will be there. And then we're going to work on our back catalog, putting it as a podcast. And I'm also looking into Apple Podcasts. If you guys have any suggestions about that, please let me know.
And also, it is the holidays. So if you're looking to get yourself or someone you like a Christmas gift, you can support us, support the channel by shopping at Leica Store Miami.
Yes.
All the cool stuff I've shown you today is available LeicaStoreMiami.com. We ship all over the world. So it definitely means a lot to us and helps us keep making this absurd content that you secretly and not so secretly love to watch.
Not so secretly, hopefully.
Exactly.
Also, check out the website, red.forum.com. We are more than just YouTube. And all the latest Leica news and firmware updates and tech reviews and things like that, in-depth camera reviews can be found there. So make sure you check that often. And also, we are on Apple News as well. So you can subscribe to Red.Forum on Apple News. If you don't want to check the website, you can just get a notification in your inbox.
There you go.
So that does it for us. Thank you, as always, to Josh. Thanks to Jose.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. Happy New Year.
All the things.
Whatever it is you celebrate. Happy Leica.
Happy long weekend off.
That's right.
If you're here. So, and thank you for taking the time to spend your Saturday evening, your holiday Saturday evening with us. We really appreciate it. And best wishes to you and yours and everyone. Have a good night.
We'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year.